Hello everyone, and welcome to the Renegade Roundtable. I will be currently just be inviting all of the speakers to speak, to come to the floor. So let me just get through that. So there's Killing You. And Four Horsemen. Let me just go back to the requests. Whistle, we'll get you in as well. There we go.
Howdy.
Hello, hello.
Hello!
Hello. It's been a while.
It has.
It has been a while. Right. Anyone else from the Web Hub side, or from the Renegade Community side, or from the Totemots Renegade X side? Feel free to send me a request to join the stage if you want to join. Otherwise, feel free to just lurk in the audience.
I'll send a message out, see if a few more folks might be able to come around. I see a few that might be available, but as I said, some are a little bit under the weather. It's just that lingering cold at the end of the winter.
Yep.
It's that time of the year,
Yep.
isn't it?
Yep. Ow.
As if to punctuate the point.
Yeah. I was about to say it's affecting a lot of people, myself included, but then my nose decided to intervene.
As long as it's not ripping up your throat. I know you've got a lot of work behind your voice recently, so...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's just the way, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but so the warmth is coming to dry out the lungs. All that long COVID can go away. And all the other little things that have been bothering us.
Yeah.
So if you're joining us on YouTube or on Twitch, you'll be able to see a nice video of a YouTuber called Extremo, who's been streaming a lot of the anniversary event that's been going on for the past week. So shout out to Extremo there for just being awesome and kind of cataloguing it all. Like there's some really good videos up on there actually, like of the beacon salute that was committed on Renegade Anniversary, where people dropped loads of iron cannon beacons and set off fireworks in celebration of 22 years of Renegade. And yeah,
Classic.
Yeah, absolutely classic. And lots of other games as well, where there's just been some videos taken of stuff like APB and Reborn and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, definitely check out his channel. The links will be in the I'll put the link in the chat.
I was about to say, where can we see this? Where can we find this guy? Where we can see these videos?
You can find all the videos and much more, and there, and that's also got a link to his link tree up there.
Fantastic.
Submarines. Oh my god. Been too long. Path Beyond.
Oh yeah, the submarines that are actually helicopters.
Wait, what?
yeah. The submarines are actually just helicopters that are trapped underwater.
I see. I had this horrible image of them spinning out of control and the propellers on the rear using it to fly in the sky.
No. Well, the propellers are actually like helicopter propellers. So
That's pretty cool.
So it's kind of funny. But for the longest time, you couldn't have helicopters and submarines on the same map because they both use the same flight ceiling.
That's clever. I like that.
Right, so we might have some people running late, but in the interest of getting things going, shall we start?
Sure.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll just
I'm going to apologize in advance for my beast.
That's all good. Right, I'm just going to set off the YouTube.
Alright, I'm going to take a second to pop a couple cough drops in my mouth.
Man, Just looking at these thumbnails, seeing all these the classic style mammoth tank. I can hear it as it fires, and then the Tusk missiles. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely iconic in its own right.
Absolutely. Don't get me wrong, balanced terribly. The Mammy needed a little bit more love, but
I mean, that's ultimately what Renegade X is for, really, to take the original game and balance it.
yeah, well, not everything's perfect. In a perfect world, I would say, the Mammoth tank could probably crush bad guys underneath, but right now they're just EMP bait. Gotta be clever. Gotta really watch your positioning, being the slowest guy on the field.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
All right, so we'll start off with the questions. We've got a few questions here that I've dreamt up and we'll be asking across the course of the roundtable, but we can also take questions from the audience towards the end as well. So if you've got any questions you want to ask the fine fellows who are assembled here today, then we can talk about that too afterwards. But right now we will start with the first question, and that's, who the hell are we? So, all right, Whistle, who are you?
No. Horseman's been here and he's not been talking.
All
enough,
right,
so Horseman, you get to go first.
Horseman, you get to start.
Yeah.
All right, I'm Full Horseman. I'm one of the art leads on the Firestorm project over at Totem Arts.
Awesome.
That's me.
Short and sweet, I like it.
Yeah, there's a level of professionalism that he always walks down the line, which means he doesn't actually have to embellish very much upon it. He just, short and sweet, this is what I do, and he does it well.
All right.
Wonderful ways.
KY, do you want to go next?
Sure. Hello, my name is Killing You, or KY if you prefer. I am a sound artist here at WedHub. I'm also the lead producer of Tiberian Dawn Ground Zero. And most recently, I was the writer, director, and star of the short film Commando.
Yeah, we had the premiere for that earlier in the week, and it was fantastic.
It was.
Absolutely awesome. All right.
I'm gonna have to ask you to drop another link for that because I must have missed that. I've been at
Yes,
work a lot
hang
this
on one
week.
second.
Drop that in chat for me.
Yeah, stick
I will.
Plug it for all it's worth.
Absolutely. I've always loved your work before. I suspect this won't be much different.
Thank you.
This takes it to a whole new level, I think.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Whistle, do you want to go next?
I'm a lurker. I am on the team, but I'm mainly just providing a back eye, just a little of an overview from time to time, providing a wizened experience and point of view. But a lot of my focus was in audio, hence why I know Killing You and have worked together with him. I'm very disappointed to say that while we did change direction partially through, the narrative experience we were going to work on was coming along so fantastically, and I still hold that in the highest regards of what you were able to accomplish as General Vega. But yes, that's me. A bit everywhere, just trying to keep my finger on the pulse from time to time, and working on directing and keeping the audio up to a standard. That's about it.
Awesome stuff.
I will.
Go for it.
I was just going to say, if you ever would like to have me return as General Vega or do some other voice, I'm just a poke away, and I would be more than happy to do it. I had a lot of fun working with you guys, and I hope to do it again.
It was good times. Highest regards, as I said. I will definitely... I've been thinking about some stuff that I want to work on recently, and you definitely came up in my mind. There's an exuberance and energy that is hard to get from folks, so when it appears, it's nice to... It's remarkable, let's put it that way.
Thank you.
And I guess I should introduce myself.
Yeah, who are you? Who the hell are you?
I'm Owa, professional procrastinator and a long-time job's worth of WedHub. I've been here a long time, hanging around the Renegade community, and making mods. I believe this is my 18th year of making mods for Renegade now. So this is it's just really nice. I started making mods in 2005 or 2004, one of the two. Anyway, and yeah, I've been making one mod in particular, Red Alert 2 Apocalypse Rising, which is a conversion of Renegade into the wonderful world of Red Alert 2, which is hopefully going to come out at some point. People keep joking and saying, oh, you know, it's going to come out in like 20 years, 10 years. But no, I think I owe it to everyone now to just get the game out. So, yeah, I mean, ideally I'd like to get it out this year. So I just wanted to, before anyone asked, I wanted to kind of set that line in the sand that we'd like to ideally get AR out this year.
Well, all you got to do is beat Firestorm out, and
this is true. Yeah, but it's my project is the Duke Nukem Forever of Renegade mods. But yeah, I think we've got a good chance this year. Other than that, I generally help around the community, doing stuff, tying people together, and getting people to talk to each other. So. One of the things that I do is I run the C&C Community website, which has a bunch of tutorials for how to play the various different games and promotes all sorts of stuff. We've recently updated the website to track daily active users across all the C&C games on kind of like a weekly and monthly basis. So actually, that's something that you guys over at Renegade X could use as well, because we're tracking your metrics as well.
Ooh.
So. Yeah, that's going to be super good. And as a fun fact, the most played Command and Conquer game right now from daily active users is one of two games. The first one being the remaster that's out on Steam at the moment. The second one being Mental Amiga.
Yeah, that's got a good scene.
This has like over 1,000 daily active users in Asia, which is crazy. But yeah, enough about the metrics and enough about that boring stuff. Let's talk more about Renegade, because that's what we're here
it's
to talk
crazy.
about.
There's 1,000 people in Asia every day, and it's the same guy.
Yeah, it's the same guy with 1,000 computers.
You know, Oa, there's one other thing you did recently that you might want to mention.
Oh yeah, I was also in Commando. I played General Locke in Killing You's Commando, so you can hear me come up and berate him for causing too many casualties.
Yeah, and he did a bang up job of that.
It took a while to get the voice, but yeah, it was good. It was quite fun playing that character.
Berating them, yeah. I'm gonna check that out after this. But I would say it's worth mentioning you've done a huge job working between TA and just everyone in the other C&C communities. I know that we have greatly appreciated your expert opinion on some things outside of just game balance and stuff like that. Working with you provided some advice as to when in some difficult times and helping us out, and it had to be noted that it is greatly respected. So thank you for that.
I only wish I could do more, to be honest, because again, we're all here to make C&C great, and we all love C&C, and that's the thing that I feel is the most important thing, is to push the things that we love out more, so that more people can enjoy them.
Absolutely, passion begets passion.
Yeah, exactly. But no, thank you for that. That's very, very kind of you. And I mean, one of the things that I love doing as well is any kind of collaboration work. So, for example, like getting you guys all set up to prototype using the Reborn assets and stuff like that, and so you can have a bit of a head start on your game. And I think there's a lot to be said about community collaboration, as well as you guys like also paying it back with stuff like mech animations and various models and stuff. So it goes without saying that I think our two communities are really good friends.
Oh yeah, don't see that changing anytime soon.
Absolutely.
Well, maybe when Renegade 2 releases and it's just shit and it splits the community in half and everything goes to hell.
Renegade 2 on Frostbite, maybe.
Yeah, it's on mobile.
Oh,
as well.
jeez.
Yeah. All right. So shall we go into a few more questions? Oh.
Math.py requires uplift. He has arrived.
All right.
Just in time to answer the next question.
Oh,
Oh, sweet.
where is? There he is. In Fight to Speak.
Math, no rest for the wicked. You're here. We have questions for you and only you.
Oh no.
Yes, ready yourself. The question is from our lovely host.
Who are you?
All right. Well, Mount.py, lead tester for TA right now. Currently testing Firestorm. In fact, that's why I'm so late to this one. Just finished the test session right there.
Awesome stuff. How's it going?
Getting some good feedback. We're nitpicking the fine details right now, so that's always a nice thing to see.
Excellent stuff. I wish I could attend more of the tests, but I just find myself really, really busy. But I promise I will come and play your game at some point.
Hey, we're all in the same boat. We all have lives. This is all a passion project, and we have to work on what we can work on when we can, and not. That does mean that while we may want to spend time with other communities and other people, it's hard enough to get focus on our own work rather than going around. So, completely understandable. And I would say the same to you. I am dying to get back into a hunter drone and just start killing people, and diving into tanks and watching them scream as they die.
Yeah,
You play our game, we'll play your game, and neither game will ever come out.
Yeah.
that sounds good to me.
Mm.
But yeah, no, I mean, it goes without saying that whenever you guys release, we'll shout about it on with all of our power. So what little we have. So yeah, it'll be absolutely big. But yeah, let's dive into question number 2. So that kind of leads nicely into question number 2. So tell us about the projects that you're working on currently, and what are you the most excited about? Who wants to take this one first?
Caveat: is this strictly C&C?
No,
Or
it
is this...
doesn't have to be strictly C&C.
Okay. So I feel like I need to ask Killing You specifically because I know he's probably got like 3 separate things he's working on right now.
Want me to go first?
Yes.
Sure. Okay, so as far as the ones that I'm actively working on right now, first of all, the project at the front of my mind is Tiberian Dawn Ground Zero, which is going to be a conversion of Renegade into the environment of the original game. As close as we can get it aesthetically, and also changing the overall gameplay feel to be more of a military simulator. If you're familiar with games such as Arma, SOCOM, Ghost Recon, that is very much the vein of feel that we want to capture with Ground Zero. In addition,
is this
to
something
that,
is that something akin to like Nuclear Dawn, where there's base buildings or a commander unit that allows them to construct things, or is it purely just like tactical infantry and vehicle combat kind of style?
purely infantry and purely boots on the ground with infantry and vehicles. There is no commander system set up.
Okay.
So that's the main thing that I'm working on at the moment. Initially, we were looking at just multiplayer only, but given the overwhelming success of Commando, I have been thinking about trying to push for a short single-player campaign that would act as a sequel to that. Yes. In addition, I am working with my friend Nathan to get the last couple episodes of the show Dead Legion out the door. You could, it's a 15-episode zombie web series. I am one of the main stars, and several people here make vocal cameos in it, namely Whistle and Oa. There are 13 episodes right now on Amazon Prime. There are 2 left that are in the works, and we're working to get those out as quickly as possible.
The Undead.
Awesome
Classics.
stuff. All right. I guess I'll go next. Yeah, so I'm currently working on a bunch of things. The main thing that I'd like to be working on is Red Alert 2 Apocalypse Rising, which is, as we mentioned earlier, the Red Alert 2 total conversion for C&C Renegade. So yeah, we've come quite a long way. We had a good development push last November. Now we're just kind of trying to get the last few bits and pieces done. Get some get some of the bugs fixed, get some more detail down on the maps, maybe introduce a couple more maps, and basically get everything up and ready for a first pass release. It's playing really well. Like, people are enjoying it, which is good. Everything feels kind of cool to play around with. We're just going to work on fine tuning of kind of getting everything feeling a bit more satisfying and meaty to play around with. So that's good. Otherwise, I'm just trying to develop the community further. We just had our yearly roadmap meeting where we've got all sorts of things we want to do, like a Renegade server which Unstoppable's working on that we want to launch, which kind of really focuses in on the core Renegade experience. Like, you see a lot of these other Renegade servers these days, like Ren Corner and MPF, focus on kind of like quite heavily modded setups, but we're kind of angling for more of a purist Renegade server. So is that what we're working on? We've also got a lot of upgrades to the website and maybe even the launcher in the pipeline as well. So yeah, lots of things to be thinking about. And yeah, I think it's going to be a really good year, to be honest. We just got to knuckle down and see what we can get done.
Absolutely. That's the main thing, isn't it? Just finding the energy from time to time to push ahead and do what needs to be done.
Exactly.
The grindy stuff done. That's the worst.
Yeah.
It's the boring stuff, right?
Gotta get through that.
We all just want to sit and make cool explosions and big tanks, but
Yeah, give me the cool shit. What's this work nonsense? I don't want to do that. Just give me the cool shit. Ion cannons lifting tanks into the air. Yeah, give me more of that. That's the serotonin juice button.
Engagement? What a boring word.
People,
Yeah.
they'll come. It's fine.
Exactly. All right. Whistle, do you want to jump in next?
Sure. So I am still part of the Totem Arts team. Again, just keeping an eye on like audio stuff, trying to make sure that the ball keeps rolling, as I was one of the people that put together the team that we have there. Very proud of the work that they had all created, just binding them, bringing them together so that they can create some really crazy stuff. Like upgrading the Wolverine's Gats to be far more impressive and powerful, so they sound more like a GAU 8 rather than just piddly machine guns.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because Wolverines are a thing to be feared, after all.
Absolutely.
The artillery cannons, the inbound sonic almost break and slam, one of the big things as well. That goes all to Mortrix and Mark Feuerborn, who are sadly not here, but their work is still incredible. Besides just keeping an eye on that, I am currently in the process of writing a few scripts for some other games. I've been wanting to do some short stories for a number of communities, from C&C, Battletech, 40K, and then they shot themselves and said, no more fan stuff. And but I have been looking at Lancer. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the artist of Kill 6 Billion Demons. It's a tabletop RPG. I just thought adding to that crazy lore would be fantastic in its own way. The cries of a billion dead in the stars reverberating and being chewed through solar winds sounds terrifyingly awesome. And lastly, I'm sure everyone's fan and heard of it, Helldivers. Just a delightful game that has accomplished so much and keeps a really tight focus, because I drop onto a world that is alien in its own way, and I can't help but look and say, God damn, that could be Tiberium. That could be the C&C universe. That low-hanging fog, the alien crystal, the way that the world moves and reacts, and it's a lot. So that is my hopes, and that is what I'm working on at the moment, putting together enough scripts to get some crazy people who might be interested in voicing them. So yes, Killing You have been on the mind. Somebody who could deliver and accomplish something rather than a bored guy at a mic can do.
Yeah,
That's
just let me know whenever that happens. I'm 100% on board.
Fantastic. Soon, very soon. So that's Helldivers, Lancer, BattleTech, 40k, and C&C. Just adding these little stories, these little snippets of the universe that we may have missed or overlooked, and giving people another insight into it from a different perspective. Because, yeah,
Absolutely.
that's what I'm working on.
I was just talking to some of our guys earlier about Helldivers and saying how it feels like they've solved our super weapon problem, in the sense that you just have a throwable grenade that calls in whatever shit you want to throw down on the enemy, and that's it feels so good to do that. So yeah, we're probably going to take a few inspirations from Helldivers for our own games, which is great. Really, I love it when a game comes out and goes, oh yeah, there's all these cool features, and we've rethought all of these things that are kind of paradigms of the third-person shooter, and then you come back in and you go, oh, actually, I'll just casually steal that. But you know, all the best ideas are stolen, as they say. So
I think the term is remixed, but yes, absolutely stolen.
Yeah.
I would say, though, if we start having to play DDR to order a tank, we'll know who to blame.
Oh yeah. Hopefully not me. Right, before we touch on, I'll head over to Horseman and Math.py for their answers on that question. I'm going to invite Gozzy to the stage. Now, Gozzy, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello there.
Hello, I'm Gozzy. I'm from Belgium, 41 now. Been playing Renegade for a long time, like most of us. And I recently revived Rent forums, which some of you may know. I got back to playing Renegade about a year ago, and it's been good fun ever since.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
Yeah, for those of you who don't
Thanks
know,
for inviting me.
it's the honour is ours. To be honest, those of you who don't know Gozzy or Gozto, as you may know him on the Ren forums, he's been around for you've been around for the whole lifetime of Renegade, right? You've seen everything, right?
I started in 2003. I didn't actually have my own internet back then, so I played at friends. Those were long nights. And yeah, I started at Warrior Nation. I don't know if they're still around. I think that clan died a long time ago. Then created my own with a couple of friends. It was the Cost 2. We had a long time classic AOW server running as well. Until many of us, we drifted away, but it seems like we always come back to Renegade.
It's got that
classic. It's a classic tug of war game that it just got a really good balance that you don't get elsewhere, even if it's not balanced.
Absolutely.
Statistics disagree with you. It's very much balanced.
As long as I'm winning, it's balanced. Sure.
I'm also going to take this opportunity.
I've also been playing some Renegade Wars lately, so a shout out to our friend at the competitive scene.
The Ren Wars guys have really been doing a great job recently with their little server and really kind of reviving the scene a little bit. So that's good. That's really, really good. It's good to see.
Yeah, they actually inspired me for the Tiberium Rise project, because Crush actually started mailing all his old friends from clanwars.cc. He had access to the clanwars.cc database, and he started mailing them, and then when he got mails that weren't delivered, he changed it to Gmail or to Hotmail. He kept trying, and then a couple of them came back, and I thought, well, maybe if we can get some of the old forums back or old communities back, we can have a tryout doing the same but on a bigger scale. So working towards that right now. I'm getting some help as well to get some a YouTube channel going. All very exciting. I hope we can get some more Renegade players back soon.
Yeah, it sounds really awesome. can't wait, to be honest. I think we've got quite a lot of exciting opportunities coming up to do that. I just want to take this opportunity as well to invite Yosh to the stage as well. So I'll just do that.
It grows.
It grows. It gets bigger. Hey, Yosh.
Oh no, this didn't have to happen.
You didn't request it, but I saw you. You can't sneak by.
All right, well, I'm here now.
I wasn't going to say
That's
anything.
fine.
I saw you lurking.
Yeah, there's no choice about it. Who are you?
That guy that yells about jump jets constantly, and just so happens to work on Red X and Firestorm, and occasionally pop my head into OG Ren when the nostalgia hits, and then leave OG Ren when the OG Ren hits.
Excellent.
Too many modern shooters. I can't play a game without a sprint button. My pinky needs to be doing something.
All right. I guess we'll continue on. So, Yosh, since you've just joined, tell us about the projects you're working on currently and what you're most excited about.
For the most part, we're just kind of polishing up Red X, and then most of my slave time goes into Firestorm, trying to make things. Most things are already made. It's just making things look right, and the polishing stage. Probably where you guys are at with Apocalypse Rising, because I've seen a lot of videos of that, and it looks like pretty much everything's in. It's just working out the jank.
It's polishing it's polishing the small details and making everything look nice and play nice. But it's mostly there. I'm so happy because it's been such a long ass journey at this point. Yeah,
I know. I did see that one forum post you guys had where the guy said it was basically vaporware at this point. I was like, I mean, you guys have put out, you have proof that it exists, and that's good enough. And one of these days, if you guys do another, open test, I need to jump in. But I'm that one weird guy that lives on West Coast US, so I get left out of everything. Because usually when people do tests, they're like, this is a good time for everyone. And I was like, I'm still at work at that time. So, yeah. So I miss out on most of that. But I appreciate streams. Yeah, always. Especially YouTube streams and saved videos. Because I can at least watch those at work when no one's looking. But yeah. So for the most part, I just kind of work on Firestorm, drown in Unreal Script, and long for C++. I'm probably the only person in the world that longs to write in C and C++.
No.
Whenever I'm working, yes. I was like,
we hear the call of UE5. We hear the call.
Exactly. Every time I go and prototype anything simple in UE5, I was like, this just feels so much better. And it just runs right. As long as it looked right, it ran right.
On the point of AR being like someone saying AR's like vaporware, I just want to. Every time I hear someone say that, I should just throw this forum post at them from 2006, which is where it's a post from Aircraft Killer, and
that's a juicy art.
Oh boy!
At the time, he says, it was my introduction thread to Apocalypse Rising, and he said, because we clearly know that this will go far. We should encourage more people to give all of you false hopes. It's okay to start projects that you'll never be able, never even get to a playable version. Fuck off. And so I replied saying, we will finish this even if it kills us. And I mean, it's still killing me. So there's the forum post for posterity if you want to read it.
We do love forum posts.
As soon as Ren forums came back up, I went and dug this one out because it's a gold mine. It's gold.
Yes.
I was gonna say, I was like, I'm so happy that Ren forums came back up. There's just a lot of there's a lot of stuff on there that's just absolute gold to kind of scroll through in your free time.
Yeah, 16-year-old me has basically dictated 34-year-old me's life up until this point. So, here's 16-year-old me.
Yeah.
I've been reading up a lot of stuff as well, like the discussions about building bars. Was it a cheat or not? Was very dramatic. A lot of Rene drama there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spoonie also had a lot of essays written about it.
Ghazi, you're an absolute legend for bringing Ren forms back.
Well, I need to give some kudos to Crimson as well, because she's actually still hosting it now. She's running in the background. I just did the technical work behind it, and then I gave it back to her.
Well, she is
Her
also
baby.
a legend for bringing Ren forms back in that case.
All parties involved are legends. Let's go with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I concur.
Hey, it's Toon Wolf.
Hey.
Hi everyone.
I was,
Sorry I'm late.
Who the hell
I
are
was
you?
wondering why it got spicy in here.
Right, who am I? Hi, my name is Team Wolf. I am a founder and admin at W3D Hub. I also am the project lead of Battle for June War of Assassins, and I help out with mapping tasks and some building work for Tiberian Sun Reborn, Apocalypse Rising, and Ground Zero. It's nice to meet you all. And Gozzy, it's very nice to actually talk to you for the first time.
Yeah, nice to hear you and nice to meet you. You guys are doing great job on keeping these mods alive.
Awesome stuff. All right. Since you just joined Team Wolf, we've got a question. So tell us about what you're working on currently and what you're most excited about.
Right, I'm working on a few things. I'm working on Ground Zero's first map to establish how their gameplay is going to flow. I'm also working loosely on Fort Bradley for Apocalypse Rising. But my main focus is on the Battle for June War of Assassins vehicle release. At the moment, I'm helping design new features and new ways that we're going to spawn and new ways that the gameplay is going to flow in Battle for June, and working closely with CFE Hunter as a programmer to realize a lot of this stuff, while also getting some design documentation done and grey boxing as many levels as I can.
Awesome stuff. All right, and before we move on to the next question, Four Horsemen and Math.py, what in any order? Tell us about what you're working on currently and what are you most excited about?
Working on Firestorm. So that's pretty much all I work on is Firestorm, and just trying to get things into the engine and not have it crash or lag like shit. So it's ancient engine, and a lot of the assets we make are, we have to do a lot of tricks to make sure it doesn't just make the game unplayable on the art side. So, yeah, but that's pretty much all my time is spent on Firestorm development.
Awesome.
Good.
And Math.py.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same for me. Mainly focusing on Renegade X and Firestorm. Lots of testing.
That's
Sometimes.
the scut work.
Yeah. So, testing today, testing every week, testing every fortnight, testing. Lots of it.
Well, that is why he is the lead tester. Be a bit lost without him at times, being able to coordinate folks and get things all put together. Get all that tasty feedback and put it in the right place.
Yep.
Awesome stuff. All right, let's go on to the next question, and that is, what drives you to create Renegade or Renegade adjacent content, and how has it impacted your life? Who wants to take that one first?
It's like taking heroin; you just can't quit.
There was a piece of me that also wanted to be like, is it just a drug? Are we just all addicted? We don't know it yet. Do we just all need therapy? Are any of us happy about it? I don't know.
We all need a dose of that Renegade.
Yeah, Renegade. Well, I gotta say, it's got to be. I think it's that old man hit. We're we're getting there, and I think the only way it ends is with a bullet. But hey, maybe that's a bit dark.
Ooh, dark.
There's no escaping it, man.
Wow.
We can't get away from it. It's there. But
Yeah, I feel that in my bones.
yeah, you just look back and be like, yeah, I remember that. I remember the good old days and the things we do and the things we did. But I think I think my experience will draw back most succinctly is the work that Killing You and I did with bringing Vega to life. It was just such a unique opportunity to bring to life a different perspective in the universe that we love, because we see it from a top-down perspective. We catch these characters in cheesy VFX, and it's great, and we all have our unique love and enjoyment of the series in its own way. But being able to twist that and then pay homage to it and deliver was just amazing, and is amazing, and that's what I love about it. Just being able to force somebody's perspective to change and their appreciation to change. That's what I really loved about it.
Yeah, I think Fobby put it the best in one of his videos for TA back in the day. Why is where is Fobby? But I think he mentioned and described the Renegade community as being tenacious, and I think we are all very tenacious in the sense that we see this thing, we see the potential in this thing, and we push to make it better and better and better, and I think that's pretty admirable at the end of the day. Like we love this thing so much that we want other people to enjoy it as much as we do, and the fact that we love this thing so much has really it's gotten to the point where working on this stuff opens doors in real life, because you kind of develop and you get better and better over time, and your opinions and perspectives on problems solving and stuff like that improves over time to the point where it's like actually making a game professionally in a sense. I've been very fortunate, and so is Team Wolf as well, in the sense that we've actually gotten our professional careers off of the back of Renegade, being now employed in the games industry properly. So it's one of those things where, like, if you do work hard on it and it can give you the experience you need to actually go into a career in games, which I think is super powerful as well. It's one of those things that really drives me to keep giving back to this community, because maybe I can help the developers of the future and
Absolutely.
and help them get jobs in the industry just like I did. So that's one of the reasons I still love teaching people about how to make games using this crusty old engine and writing tutorials about how to give a tank 10,000 HP and rig up tracks so they look great, and just like little bits and pieces that I find passionate, that I think could help give back to games development communities as a whole. So that's it's one of the big things that I think is really important, is that Renegade has become this kind of grassroots movement.
Absolutely. I would say two things to that. One, stubborn or tenacious.
Unhealthy obsession.
Yeah.
Stubborn, tenacious, and paranoid.
There's a thin line between brave and stupid.
Yeah.
I think there's a thin line between tenacious and stubborn. But
There's
yeah.
a lot of nostalgia in it as well.
Wow.
The game series Command & Conquer has been running for such a long time. It has followed us all our lives. I think I started playing Command & Conquer with Red Alert 1 at 15. I'm 41 now. And I never really stopped playing it. So yeah, it kind of follows you, makes you stick around as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'll agree with that. Yeah.
Wait,
'Cause
who's the oldest one here?
Honestly, the only thing I've ever put on my desk to decorate at work, because I'm always the guy that people look at, because I never decorate my desk at all.
You have a
From the-
mammoth tank?
I have the mammoth tank, the Obelisk, and the Tesla coil from the remastered edition. Yeah, that's the only thing I've ever put on my desk.
That shit was expensive.
Oh, I didn't care.
to get it here in Europe was quite harsh, quite difficult.
Yeah,
Kudos to you for that.
yeah, I got my collectible edition. That's honestly also the only collectible thing that I ever got.
it's the same for me and Team Wolf, really. I think you'd attest to this, Team Wolf. Like you're known as the Dune guy, and I'm known as the C&C guy. within work.
Yeah, I've got a sandworm on my desk.
Nice.
I've got the entire
Nobody
library. I've got the entire library of C&C games in hard copy on a shelf next to my desk. And then whenever
That's good.
anyone comes over to me and goes, "Why have you got all these C&C games?" I'm just like, competitive analysis.
Yeah.
Yeah. From how many years ago? Yeah.
Yeah, it's very competitive.
Yeah. Well, I don't work in the games industry. I'm just kind of IT. So half the people I know don't even know what Command and Conquer is. Oh, it's awful.
Well, I will say, anyone who is trying to get into game dev or anything like that, same thoughts as you, modding and deving and joining any of these teams or working on these passion projects are some of the best ways to do it. Hell, I came from the BattleTech community with MechWarrior Living Legends. I wasn't on the team, but I was there to see what happened. And a number of the Wandering Samurai guys ended up working at Crytek to help with Star Citizen. They got employed directly into them on the backs of their mod work for BattleTech. So absolutely, this is one of the ways to get your foot in the door and start understanding how to work in a team or engaging and working with these processes. It is worth doing.
Absolutely, cannot recommend it enough. Right, are we all done on that question? Does anyone else want to step in and talk about what drives you to create Renegade or Renegade adjacent content, and how has it impacted your life?
I can chime in on this one real quick. As far as my motivation for creating Renegade content goes, it really is just a love and passion for this franchise. This has been with me literally most of my life. I'm 20. I just turned 29 this year, so I'm only a few months older than this series. And my dad got it on release, so as long as I can remember, it's been with me. So I just want to give back to this franchise in any way that I can. And so far that has come out with mostly my work here at WedHub, but also assisting with other projects such as brief stint with Firestorm, End of Days, Contra, and a few others, as well as Commando. And as far as how it's impacted my real life goes, it really has shaped my passion for acting, just not only voice acting, but just physical acting as a whole as well. It's what led me to find some of my current friends who work, they are now independent film editors, so we're well on the path of just having acting be a full-time job for me. In addition to that, later this year I'm going to launch my own independent voice acting service, if you will. And all of that would not have been possible without Command and Conquer just being there and motivating me this whole time. It was just how much fun it has with itself, both in the voice acting department and the FMVs.
That's awesome. I think something to add to that point as well. I think that Renegade has really been a great catalyst in pulling people together from different walks of life across different countries across the world, right? And like it's really, really good that I could say, like, some of the people who I hang out with here on the regular I consider to be very good friends, and it's really awesome to kind of have that community as like just a group of people who you can hang out with on the regular and chat about C&C things and make stupid jokes with about very specific C&C things. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's very.
I did tell someone at work yesterday that I dislike them, and they went, "Dislike? What do you mean dislike?"
Honestly, you have no idea. I'd probably just laugh and hug somebody if they said I dislike you to me. And I'll be like, I'm not even gonna say out loud that I understand exactly what you just said.
He was so perplexed and just left the kitchen really confused. It was a great moment.
I'm not gonna lie, there have been literal times in my life where I have gone to say something like, what the fuck? And my brain just auto-completed it, and what came out of my mouth was, what the glacier flaying fuck?
Did you also add that he was a big jackass?
Sometimes.
Just challenge DJ Laptop's dramatic voice.
Yes. The national anthem of Renegade.
Absolutely legendary.
It really is.
Before we move on, though, I do want to just quickly say how much I really appreciate it, like the Renegade as a community. As much as it can be so up and down, and we love our drama. Now I've made some of the best friends in my life through Command and Conquer, in online and in real life. Unfortunately for Oa, we were roommates. We hang out every week. Same with quite a few people. Now that we all live in the same town. Also, shout out, he's gonna hate this, to C&C Hyper, fantastic friend, and yeah, just coming on like at the end of the day onto Discord after work and streaming what we were playing or working on to these bunch of renegades, and everyone just chilling and vibing and having like the same kind of energy is fantastic.
Yeah, we have a New Year's party every year, and we always rave around to Crush.
yeah, we do. And then Oa then puts on Destructible Times by IAM, and we just scream into a microphone.
Oh, we karaoke Destructible Times, yeah. Which is really fun. But yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's been life changing. It's really shaped I think a lot of our lives and just how we live. Also, I wouldn't know Dune as well as I do if it wasn't for C&C.
I genuinely cannot imagine you without all of that Dune knowledge just soaked into your being.
Yeah, by the way, guys, if you ever want to know anything about Dune, please don't hesitate to ping me. I'm a walking encyclopedia. I have no life outside of it. So spice is pretty much worm feces.
Don't get him started.
And what happens is it causes such a chemical imbalance underneath the sand that you will have something called a spice blow, and it's where all this chemical pressure builds up and just skyrockets through the sand out to the surface. And unfortunately, anything that's above the sand at the time will not only get blown up into the sky, but then when they land will get sucked in because of the vacuum of the equivalent exchange of the air pressure.
All right,
Fantastic.
one more question Dune related before we move on.
I appreciate your time.
Swelling?
Beef swelling? What?
Beef swelling is something I believe Duncan Idaho had and could feel when he was in God Emperor of Dune, the book, when he saw a certain female that was intended for Leto 2.
Thank you, Dr. Mobius, for your time.
The possibilities of spice are limitless.
All right, let's move on to the next question. So the question is Renegade still relevant in 2024, and what impact do you feel it has had on other games?
I think it just depends who you ask. Obviously, if you ask any of us, it's still relevant.
Yeah, that's why. That's why I'm asking you, because you're all biased.
Yeah, we're all biased. So yeah, it's still relevant to my life. Let's just say I don't keep games on my computer very long. Renegade's probably the only game that's basically survived since 2002 on whatever computer I'm using.
We won't let you go.
Yeah, bar none. It's the only game that has survived all these years.
No escape.
So
it's a no escape, and also just it's nice, and you can see even where like some people from EA might have stolen a thing or two from it, and you can see the influence.
Absolutely, I want to touch on that briefly in the sense that there's been some more recent games that have kind of taken bits from Renegade, taken concepts and ideas. I don't know if you guys played Halo 5, but in Halo 5 there's a mode where you have purchase terminals and a currency and everything like that, and you buy your vehicles, and I'm just like, this is just basically Renegade, but without bases. And I think Battlefield 2042 now has a mode where you save up points and buy vehicles, and I'm just like, well, wonder who's doing that one first.
Yep. It is interesting to see, and it is a shame that it's not being taken more. But it is an older game. They're grasping, going back to basics for other things that were. Let's face it, Ren didn't sell well, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it didn't sell particularly well, I don't think. But maybe because it was just before its time, maybe.
I also just kind of I have to always point out that most YouTube videos about Renegade, it's just a bunch of Renegade fans, nostalgia, and then there's that one guy that's like, people actually liked this. I'm just like, that's a valid criticism. That's a valid criticism. Yeah. I was just like, because I was like, I got a few friends into Renegade back in the day, but for the most part, I could not get anybody to play that game.
I think it's more the way I try and describe it to people. It's like World of Warcraft fans after playing Warcraft 3 for so long. It's players that have played Command and Conquer through the years. Well, for us anyway, back in the day, where we've seen all the FMV cutscenes and we've seen like tanks assaulting a base and pillboxes being destroyed in Red Alert 1. We've seen all these rushes and attacks in Tiberian Dawn, and then you just get thrusted like into this universe, boots on the ground for the first time. And you're just like, I can buy a mammoth tank.
Yeah.
I can be a rocket soldier and in a mammoth tank, and I can go and blow up a harvester. It was just this great satisfaction of finally living out this kind of fantasy. And then you find out the game's actually really fast, fun, and frenetic. And that constant action becomes addictive when you haven't got anything better at the time. And it's unfortunate. I agree with you guys. It may be seen as archaic, but I still think it's a shame that it hasn't been fully tapped into as a kind of game mode or gameplay, or modernized in any real form outside of our communities, and maybe a couple of game modes for some games. When there's so many layers to the basic C&C mode that could easily be tapped into and brought to a modern audience. I mean, Petroglyph started to work on Earthbreakers, but ultimately that got dropped, I think, in favor of the Great War RTS. But see if they come back with it. But yeah, I think there's still quite a wide range of possibilities that this kind of game mode can be explored into.
Yeah, I think Mike Legg said the other day that it's on pause.
Yes, yeah, he did. I think, one of our community members here said, Renegade Remaster when? He was like, well, we've got this. And Earthbreakers is on pause, so we might come back to it. And hopefully they do, because I thought it was quite good fun.
I'm going to disagree with that, but we'll just agree to disagree.
But it's an unbaked product, right? Who knows what it could actually look like when it's fully fleshed out.
Yeah, I would
barely got put into the game. I think it was also still quite in its infancy, because it was barely in alpha, if it was not pre-alpha.
It felt very pre-alpha. It was just, I was like, I feel like they should have baked this a little bit more. Also, I was a little sketched out when there was lag in the trailer for it. I was just like, you probably don't want FPS lag in your trailer. Yeah, so I was a little sketched out by Earthbreakers.
If I may come back to Renegade, I think it's just perfect in its simplicity. I mean, how many games can you play where you can have 1v1s or 40 versus 40s on the same map, and it still works, where you have more or less a 50% chance rate independent of the side you take, and it's not rock, paper, scissors. I think the game would actually work very good as a mobile game or a very arcade mobile game or something like that. If someone would port it, it would have a lot of success today. I do agree it was ahead of its time on multiplayer. People back in 2002 bought games for single player campaigns, and must admit that this wasn't a very good one. And the technology wasn't really ready for the multiplayer side. So the game never lived up to its challenge.
Yeah, I remember trying to play Renegade on dial-up, but it was horrible. Maybe a bit...
Still quite horrible, lag-wise.
I mean, it is, yeah. We do our best to try and mitigate that as much as we can. But there's no denying the fact that Renegade is pretty spaghetti code. Yeah, I think I think though the fact that it's lasted this long with the community still playing it, you're still getting these big games occurring and stuff like that still inspires people to this day, really.
I'm trying to get my youngest daughter into it. I mean, it's very simple to learn. You can immediately be useful even when you're 11-year-old.
Yeah,
You can repair things. I mean,
honestly, I got to get one of my roommates. He was kind of into it. We were playing Renex a bit, and when I told him the first thing you want to do in any Renalike is don't play infantry when you're first starting. You will get frustrated immediately because everybody. I was like, at that point, yeah, it's like at that point, Renex has already been out for like 8 years. Renegade has been out for fucking about 20 something. I was like, dude, everyone who's still playing infantry is probably like God mode at it. You're gonna get frustrated immediately.
I just want to stop you there and say, Renalike. That's not a term I've heard before, and I like it.
Really? I say that.
Renalike.
Oh, I've always used that to refer to literally it just encompasses Renegade and all adjacent mods.
I think that's a really good term. Yeah.
Well, then I'm going to go patent it because we live in 2024 and times are tough. I need money.
Get over to Urban Dictionary right now. Get it in.
But yeah, I was like, dude, you can just like repair and everything, and just look at what other people do. And I was like, oh my god, I think I just found how to get a kid in Renegade. I was just like, oh, wow, because he's like, he enjoyed it way more. He said when you like start from the bottom, and he's like, yeah, there's just always kind of something to do in Ren. It's like no matter how bad you suck at X, Y, or Z, you can probably find something.
Absolutely. All right, are we all done on that question?
Think so, yeah.
Shall we move on then? Cool. The next question is: in order to keep Renegade and all of its Renalikes, I'll use that term now. All of its, well, I was going to put its adjacent projects, but Renalike sounds much better. And in order to keep Renegade and its Renalikes alive with new and returning players, what do you think can be done to ensure that it keeps standing the test of time?
Well, what we do is every single one of us, if you have kids, mandatory C&C Ren time.
Yeah. We're a cult now.
One of us.
Future wife has no idea that's going to be a thing.
I think continuing doing what we're doing right now. Keep having these discussions. Just keep it in the mind of everyone around us. Keep pushing it.
And keep pushing it in the C&C Discord, the Command & Conquer Discord, because we are definitely few in number compared to the RTS lovers of C&C, which it's still amazing that we are literally the redheaded stepchild of the whole series. And still alive. And still the coolest. Cool. Yeah, we're still probably the coolest. We probably have all the coolest projects. To be fair, some of the Generals mods and like the mods for like Riddler 3 and the later stage game engines, those are they're actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it might be cool, but they couldn't 1v1, Crutch Jet, like,
Yeah, 1v1 me Ren.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Can I reply with a question? Because there's a question in the chat that actually is relevant to this. It's Extreme Pro asking, is there any way we can make Renegade easier to download or to buy or to access? Because at this time it's the biggest pain ever. I really think that having to buy a collection of 9 games to be able to play Renegade, and then having to find the game patch online, because without the TT patch is really, well, underwhelming to say the least. It's just very hard to get new players in. So yeah, we will be trying to get old players to return to the game, and I hope we can get some success. But if we want to reach new players, and I think it's a bit easier for the Renalike with the W3D hub launcher, but for the normal Renegade it's really a big pain.
Yeah, it is unfortunate really that it's part of a pack, but that's just the way that EA is really selling it, and that makes sense for their business. So at the end of the day,
Does it
Yeah.
though? Like, they're not making that much off of C&C. Like, just let us have this.
Legality.
Yeah, if we
Also, you got to remember that they're going to be having, if they sell it as a pack, they're going to sell it like at $10 or $15. That means that if you want one game, you're like, I don't mind dropping that much money.
I guess, but I feel like they can live by letting the old C&Cs finally just all be free. It'll look good for them.
Yeah, when have they ever cared about looking good? Let's be honest.
Well, I mean, to be fair, their modding policy, basically letting everyone, live with their mods, that was a pretty good move on their part.
They're not Nintendo.
Yeah, they were the antithesis of Nintendo.
Yeah,
at that point.
The C&C modding policy was really big, and it's thanks to the folks like CC Hyper and all the people who worked along with that that is the thing. We over at Red Hub had a little bit of input on that as well, because we were actually quite worried about our projects being caught under the legal cosh from EA. So it was great to see that actually come through and be ratified in a way that that kind of protects our projects in a way, because obviously we've been working on these projects for years now, and we don't want to kind of have to shutter them because some lawyer gets a bit overzealous and doesn't know what he's doing. So we were quite glad that we were able to got that, and we were able to get that, and it's thanks to people in EA who still have passion for Command & Conquer, like Jim Vasella and Greg Black, and the classic developers who are still there fighting the good fight for C&C. So it's really
thankfully
thanks to them.
We have our plants. Few of them. Few of the people that are either ex-Totem Arts or current Totem Arts, gotta have those plants.
Oh yeah, the plants as well. I know. Yeah, I know all too well. I've got a couple of friends there myself. So it's it's all about just making sure that we're ticking nicely under the hood. I think ultimately it's down to what they want to do with it. We can't really. We're only a few people who can say what we want, but if they say no, then we've got to respect that, because at the end of the day, they're the IP holder, unfortunately.
And they're also the ones with all the money.
Yes, they're the ones with all
I
the
will
money.
say that if the day ever came that we were able to just distribute Renegade through the launcher, we would do that like in a heartbeat.
Yeah, absolutely. If there was ever a stage where we would be allowed to do that, then we would seriously consider getting it up and putting it on the launcher so that people could download, maybe in a multiplayer only capacity or whatever they say. But it's one of those things that it will require. If we were ever to go and do that, it requires dialogue two ways, and we can't just go out there and subvert things by hosting a cracked version of the demo or whatever people do to get Renegade working sometimes. But
gotta keep it legal.
You've got to keep it legal. Got to keep the IP holder happy, and that's how we can work together, because it's a two-way street at the end of the day. I just want to take this opportunity to invite Extreme Pro to the floor, because Gozto said earlier that he'd be interested in speaking, so I will just invite. And how's it going, Extreme Pro?
Hey, good. Yeah, really not much to add there. I appreciate the thorough information on that. So that was really my only question. But thanks for doing the roundtable, and really appreciate listening to you guys. And thanks for helping to keep Renegade alive.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, no worries. I wanted to just ask you about what you've been working on recently, and I know you're part of the Renegade Wars community and getting all that up and running. So do you want to take a moment to tell us a bit about it?
Sure. In Ren Wars, we like to play competitively, so we usually go 2 versus 2, up to maybe 5 versus 5. And Unstoppable is when Grady's made an ELO system, so all the games are ranked, which is kind of fun to look at. It doesn't mean a lot, but we've got a pretty good crowd that does it. I think we've got 20-30 people that consistently play every day. So starting to build that, and it's just another style of Renegade besides the public games that we've enjoyed. So trying to grow it if we can. Anyone's welcome. We try and have an open match on Sundays at 2 p.m. Central Time. So anyone is welcome to join us.
That's awesome. Feel free to leave a link to the Discord in chat somewhere if you want to promote it.
Absolutely, will do. Thanks again.
Nice one. All right, let's continue on with the roundtable. So, does anyone have any more that they want to say about keeping Renegade alive and what we can do to keep to ensure that it kind of stands the test of time?
Again, just passion, big ass passion. Looking over some of the old history of totem marks and all that jazz. Finding some of the earliest posts from when Havoc threw up. What was it? It was like an obelisk or a nod soldier in Unreal. And that started everything off, and just seeing how people bounce from seeing one cool thing to, oh, now we have an obelisk, now we have the audio, some of the sound bites in there, and how it just, people were able to reverberate off each other, use that, oh, that's really cool that you made that, I want to do this now, allowing that passion to create other things, to become a team, to create what was created, I think is the way to do it. So
it's literally a whole project based on that right now, definitely.
Yeah. Just bouncing from cool aspect to cool aspect to deliver something that gets everybody excited and interested and wanting to do more. That's the big thing.
Absolutely. I mean, to add on to that point, part of the reason that I've been delaying AR for so long, Apocalypse Rising, is because I recognise personally that Red Alert 2 is a kind of this beloved IP, and it's very, very popular with not only the Western C&C fans but also the Eastern C&C fans, who are starting to kind of pick up and play Red Alert 2 over in Eastern Asia and all that kind of stuff. So one of the things I want to do is make sure that game is the best it can be on launch, so that people kind of attach themselves to it, and it then brings more players into the community for all our projects. So I think it's because it's such a big IP, we have a real big chance to really pull some numbers with it. So I'm going to be doing all the PR work I can to try and get everything working for it. So YouTube content, Discord posts, spamming people everywhere, Facebook. So we've got all the people on Facebook that we're going to try and get playing it, and as well as maybe some Twitter or X or whatever the hell it's called now. And also we're going to try and reach out to some publications as well, I think. So stuff like PC Gamer and IGN and Kotaku and stuff, and see if we can pull some strings to try and get our game covered and out there a bit on the cheap, because at the end of the day we don't have a marketing budget, and we can, unless we pay for it ourselves. So one of the things we do want to do is try and get out there as much as we can off our own backs without paying too much for like professional exposure and marketing and all that kind of jazz that comes with any kind of PR strategy and marketing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so word of mouth I think is going to be the major one, but if we can get more and more light on the community as well as for Firestorm as well, because I mean, Tiberian Sun is obviously a massive IP as well, so you guys are going to be able to drop that with significant fanfare as well, I would have thought. So yeah, anything that allows us to kind of create content, trailers, stuff like that we can spam all across the world, is going to really give us a good chance to get loads and loads of players in and working. And players can sometimes be developers and help us make more things, so that's also a good bonus to it.
Yeah. All I will say on this point is that variety is the...
Oh, we lost you there, KY.
In visuals, but in terms of play,
we're losing you, killing you.
Help.
You want to start again with that one?
Yeah. I was just going to say that variety is the spice of life. So I think us continuing to make sure that our games are, varied and diverse, not just in terms of visuals, but also in terms of what gameplay they can offer, that's going to be a big help, because we can attract a broader spectrum of players that way. Like, for example, with Dune going in a slightly more Battlefield and Call of Duty direction, if I'm not mistaken. Ground Zero going very heavily into Arma and Ghost Recon. and then just all of the other games going in all different directions, all united under the banner of C&C and Renegade. I think that's going to be a big help moving forward, and something to keep in the back of our minds.
This actually reminds me, did anyone invite Rap?
Rap working on TSI.
Yeah, Incursion or what? Yeah.
I don't think he's actually in this Discord anymore.
Oh, ooh. And I didn't know he just straight up.
Yeah, we got. Well, I mean, Rap still kind of adjacently works with us through the programming team. Like he talks to a lot of our programmers and talks to us. Like the game that he's building, he's building Tiberian Sun Incursion, which is this really kind of exciting project that it aims to take Tiberian Sun in a bit of a different way, and it's kind of like this entirely third person game with a lot of emphasis on like map control and stuff like that. So it's quite an interesting little project.
Yeah.
I'll stick the Discord channel in the chat so you guys can join in and check it out, because it is actually a really interesting game.
Yeah. Yeah, so his alpha like 2 months ago, I think. It did kind of not have much fanfare, but it was mostly like a Reddit post. That's why I was like, we need to shout that out a little bit more, because it looks like they put quite a bit of time into that.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I played it with a few other people. It seems interesting. It's definitely got some Renegade blood in it.
Yeah.
If he denies it. Got a lot of Renegade blood in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Also goes to show many of the different ways that he's pushing this old engine forward in ways that we haven't really pushed before. So it definitely deserves a lot more recognition than it gets.
Yeah. He still got fucking John Will working with him with that.
Yeah, that's so mainly like John Will's working with Rap on his project, but he's also kind of feeding stuff to us as well. So we're kind of all still working together indirectly, which is pretty good.
I was gonna say, is John Will he was like the first writer for scripts?
Yeah, he's still writing scripts. Still writing
Yep.
scripts.
Yeah. I feel like basically all of us should send that man a present. Like he may or may not be like what started it all.
Yeah. There's a link to
He needs to get a box of chocolates, but like a really big box of chocolates.
a box
Crate of
Like,
chocolates.
we just need to get
Send
him
him
out a
some
subscription.
a box of
He
Pay
loves
for a
KFC.
subscription.
he loves
Just send him
KFC
KFC and he'll be happy.
Send him
yeah.
KFC.
or a box
That
of
and Pepsi.
a box of
Or no,
chocolate
Coke, sorry.
a box of chocolate Lego.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
like a Lego Death Star. Send
Yeah.
him like or a Star Destroyer.
he
Is
does
that a thing?
he does all sorts of Lego events and stuff like that. He's really big on his Lego.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
All I have to say in regards to Rap and TSI is that even though he's kind of left this Discord and sort of just gone off to do his own thing, I still very much consider him to be a part of the W3D family, and I hope his project gets all the love and recognition it deserves.
Absolutely, yeah. It's really exciting what he's doing, what he's cooking up, because it's really, without his work, we really wouldn't be pushing this engine to its limits of what it can do graphically, because his project is the first with which is actually quite crazy to say this, but his project is the first Renegade project that features full PBR in the sense of
I saw that.
physically based rendering assets, which is kind of like the modern paradigm for art creation in video games, and he's there kind of pioneering it, which is really admirable. So yeah, but yeah, do check out Rap's project, super good. Gozzy's off, so cheers Gozzy, thanks for coming. It's been awesome to have you. Let me just move on. Are we all done on that question then? So that was the what do we do to keep Renegade alive to all the adjacent projects?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So this next one's kind of exciting. If you had control of the C&C franchise, what would you do to revive it?
Reboot it.
Yeah, I think. Could you grab Havoc for this one?
Oh God. Listening intently.
No.
You're getting up here.
Do you want to get up
You're
here,
not
Havoc?
getting away from us that easily.
Do you want to get up here, Havoc?
Yeah, he does. There's no actual. Yeah, there's no questioning him. He just gets up here.
I'll let the man himself answer.
I have money for a plane ticket, Havoc. You stop.
You've evaded us for the last time, Havoc 89. Torch them both.
No, don't you just LOL. Get up here.
I'm sending you an invite. There you go.
You have to.
Oh yeah.
See if you can say hi.
I feel like this is just like bullying.
No, this is the
Of
proper
course.
time.
It's fine. I've been bullying you for 10 years. We're good.
This is just the Renegade community experience.
Yeah.
Peer pressure.
That's why we're all so tough.
Be bullied enough by Aircraft Killer that you become the bully.
Well, while you collect your thoughts, I'm actually interested in hearing what Horseman has to say about this one.
Repeat the question. I almost forgot.
So the question is, if you had control of the C&C franchise, what do you do to revive it?
Throw money at it. Like if I like EA's bank account, yeah, I would just throw money at it.
Yeah, but at what game? What would be your priority? Or are you just saying unleash the hounds of development and make everything?
I'd go like kind of how Valve did it with their stuff, like let people commercialize their own products, their own mods. Like they did with what was that? Black Mesa.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a really interesting approach as well, because that really would help out the community, but also kind of relinquishes control of the franchise just a little bit and says, "Hey, we're okay with people making fan games."
Sort of make it like a public IP, but owned. Yeah.
On the caveat, it's not a mobile game. Please, I'm sick of seeing them.
No one will look.
That's what I was gonna say.
That would literally be like the first thing.
Maybe with a red share or something.
Yeah, it's like you're not allowed to make any mobile games. They'll
No
look at
random
you.
legs on mobile, thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's certainly an interesting take. Does anyone else want to jump in on this one?
Well, I mean, if people are looking for like official motions, honestly, I'd say you want, as someone who writes a lot, I couldn't just retcon C&C4. And I don't like it, but I'd feel kind of bad just literally telling all the people that wrote that no, this didn't happen.
Well, that's
just
wait,
the whole series.
I think that's a very interesting concept now that you're talking about it, how you would move on from that. And I think Kane would have to like kill himself with the chronosphere or something. I don't know. That's the only way that I could see about salvaging it off the top right there.
To be fair, you do have Red Alert out there, and you have Westwood's original idea to bring those together.
Yeah.
So literally C&C 5, or just, you know, everyone seems to love just calling things the original title after they get past like 5 sequels. So it would just be Command and Conquer. Yeah, that would literally be how it happened. And we just throw some Chronosphere nonsense in there.
Alternate
weird,
universe.
Timey-wimey BS. And yeah, now you have
Hear me out on this
OG
one.
Command and Conquer.
Hear me out on this one. I've got an idea that makes C&C4 still canon. If you think about it, C&C4 is Mario Brothers 2. It is basically at the
It
end
was
of
all a dream.
At the end of the game, Mario wakes up and goes, "Oh, what about the dream?" Like, so basically, you start the next C&C with Kane waking up and going, "Oh, what a bad dream." It's still Tiberium War 3. Let's go. We need to go to the threshold tower, boys.
What if he's still connected to Cabal and it's trying to feed information from him, so he makes him believe that he broke out and is living this life?
Yeah.
And
Maybe
this is trying to find his plans.
Maybe he's like trapped in Cabal, and that's why C&C4 happened.
Oh my god! So there's that, or he wakes up after that was his dream after he got Ion Cannoned in the Temple of Nod. He just wakes up. I don't know. I feel like you should never reconfirm that Kane is actually immortal.
Or human. Like, whatever the fuck he
The
is.
moment you try to answer his story is the moment you make him less interesting.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is why you focus on everyone else around them and all his crazy shit and how people react to that.
Honestly, yeah, I kind of like it. Go back to like end of Firestorm, and just start from there, which is conveniently when Westwood basically was out of the picture.
guess
I would lean on
part of
to
the
Get Me
question-
McNeil instead.
Part of the question I would ask, would you want to do only RTS?
Now that is an excellent question.
I mean, I don't think RTSs are they're sort of dead, but maybe it also there was a pretty good video about how RTSs nowadays kind of just miss the point a little bit, where they really like being a lot of form over function, which you can't have in an RTS.
I've got 2 points here I want to make, and that's the first point is that I think people who make RTSs these days are too concerned about making a game that's competitively viable, when I think that they should be making games that are fun instead. C&C is generally all about how can I blow up the most stuff with the biggest thing, and that's it's about having your arsenal, your toy box arsenal of equipment, and then just using all those tools to utterly decimate the opponent, rather than how many workers can I turn out in the first 5 minutes of the game and get them all working on this thing, and then I need to mine all the stone, the food, the gold, and do all that. It's not about that. It's just like, I'm going to build a power plant. Yeah, I'm going to build a refinery. Then I'm going to build a wool factory. Then I'm going to turn out 5 tanks. Easy. Like it's very C&C is very simplistic in that sense, but it has a really kind of like high skill ceiling, but a low kind of like bar to entry. And I think that's the beauty of it. And I think they need to just remember that and not try and make it StarCraft and not try and make it Age of Empires, because those things exist and they're better. So they should just try and make C&C the best C&C it can be, without kind of deviating and going, well, it needs to be an esport and it needs to be all this stuff that I don't think that RTSs necessarily need to be, let alone C&C. So
Yeah, but they want the new cash cow.
yeah, do you want the new
Side
cash
glance.
This is why you have to make the new cash cow,
Yeah,
which
you have
is
to
just
make
the
it
old
good.
cash cow.
Yes,
I mean,
I
it
don't
boils
think
down to the
RTS
argument
now
of
needs to be a cash cow.
it boils down to the kind of like the point of what do you sell. That's it. Like, could EA reasonably reboot Red Alert 2 and sell more DLC for it as expansion packs? Yes, they probably could. I want to play a Yuri campaign. Westwood didn't make that. Like that's the kind of stuff that I think that the EA could reasonably do in rebooting the old games, in the sense that in the same way that Microsoft have rebooted Age of Empires and are still rolling out DLC for it to this day. It's kind of one of those things that I think is really actually quite viable. Red Alert 2 is still popular.
On the note of C&C Red Alert 2 and the death of RTS games, I do want to make a quick shout out to Dorf. If anyone's not seen that, you are going to be instantly hit by the aesthetics.
Yeah, Dorf looks awesome.
Ah, yes, I saw
Ooh.
that. I did see that.
But that was the first point I wanted to make. But the second point I wanted to make is that I think EA is potentially sleeping on C&C tie-in content for Battlefield. I think.
Yeah, that's honestly
Yeah.
the big one. Like, the more we like put things into Firestorm, the more I'm like, how has EA not just done this before? We're just like, what the fuck? Like this flows together perfectly.
Command and Conquer has a library of
I
interesting
think
vehicles.
In general, Command and Conquer, I think, is less of an RTS now. I think it's more universe capable, kind of like Halo. Like
Oh yeah,
such
where
a
it could like
rich
branch out.
franchise.
C&C is
You
very
could go
universe
in
capable.
any direction in any genre and come up with a CNC lore accurate game.
It's funny that
Fans
you
would
mentioned
generally
that.
be okay with that too.
Why is it funny that he mentioned that, by the way?
Oh, just my own response to this question whenever y'all are ready.
Go for it.
Go ahead. Yeah, go for it.
All right, so I have a three ideas of what I would do to revive this franchise. One of which I will very likely just go, fine, I'll do it myself, and will probably sound familiar to people who have spent in a lot of time with me on Discord. So number one, I would just make Generals 2 happen. I don't know if it would be exactly as the original plan or what was right before canceled or something else entirely. I would just do it because Generals is laid a great foundation for something that could evolve into something truly special. And it's a game that I'm glad to see get more recognition. And I think Generals 2 could expand on a way that could really revive the franchise. Number two, and which is kind of my big pipe dream, I don't think this will ever happen, but I hope it does, is I would make a TV show. Specifically, I would center it around the Forgotten, and I would set it around the time of Tiberian Sun, very likely covering events before and after the game, and including the events up to and including Firestorm. That's why I said that it was funny that Havoc said that it's not just RTS anymore. It's possible of being a multiple universe thing.
Well,
Not a multiverse.
I've got to say that seems like a very plausible
multiple
option
times.
if you get a number. If you can get some stories out, particularly if Henry Cavill in the 40K universe manages to come mainstream in their delivery.
Yeah.
It's very possible somebody else might be like, what other old games can we, try this with?
What games are universe capable?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say when I said that it was funny when Havoc 89 mentioned that. I kind of tripped over my words. My apologies.
It's funny, Fallout is getting a TV
Yeah.
show too.
Indeed. And
I just wish the Halo TV show was better. God, it sucks.
I haven't even seen it yet, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But I've heard things about it that don't sound great.
Yeah, I've refused to watch it just because as soon as I heard that the writers don't care about the game, I'm like, okay, well.
Well,
this
then
is
you don't care about the
garbage.
show. Done.
Yeah.
It's not.
It would be neat to see a Fallout 3-4 style game in the Tiberian Sun universe, like the Tib Sun
Yeah.
era. That would be really cool to see. Like
That
an
would be really
RPG.
cool.
I mean,
But
that's kind of what my point is also, right? Like you can come up with whatever genre. Like you could make a Dead Space-like game where you're fighting against Tiberian mutants and stuff like that. You make something Fallout related that's Tib Sun like. You could do something like wacky and cartoony, almost like Guardians of the Galaxy or something.
I'm saying
In the Red Alert universe, you could even do something like Uncharted or like Tomb Raider as like a commando action adventure type game. There's endless
Yeah.
possibilities with the
Well, they were-
because it is just a rich universe.
weren't they looking at making Tiberium, which was like a Command and Conquer? No, not a Command and Conquer, like Star Wars Republic Commando kind of rip-off kind of style, where you could
wasn't
call in
a
like Titans.
rip-off. Basically,
Inspired
Republic
by
Commando. No, Republic Commando. I'm pretty sure came out after that, and you see basically a lot of the code for it
Oh,
hanging out.
really?
Yeah, from Tiberium.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, just because someone cancels a project doesn't mean somebody doesn't go copy paste.
I got my timelines mixed up. My apologies.
Pretty sure Republic Commando was after Tiberium.
No,
Yeah.
no, dude, I'm pretty sure that was like on the original Xbox.
Yeah,
That's when I
Republic
played
Commando
it.
came out way before, didn't it?
That's what I thought.
I think so, yeah.
When Tiberium was being made.
Yeah,
I
Uh,
want to say
Yeah,
Republic
that was
Commando was
Spike's
like
Grin.
2005, wasn't it?
That was after Kane's Wrath and C&C.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was around 2008 or something.
Oh no, I might be wrong. Yeah.
That's 2005, so that's before C&C 3. So that's in Ergo. That is before Tiberium because Tiberium was cancelled in 2008, I believe, early 2008. Because I remember me and Team Wolf went to London and asked Greg Black about it because he was there. And we were like, Greg, what's happening with Tiberium? And he's just like, yeah, it got canned. So I'm like, okay.
Nah.
Too many developers were actually playing video games during work time and stuff like that.
Yeah. Obviously, it's the developer's fault, not the shareholders.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, topical.
So, anywho, what else do we have for this? If
I'm
anything?
calling it Helldivers. Like, if anyone's played it, anyone walked on a weird ass world, literally just 4 random GDI troopers dropped in to kill some scrin. That's literally it. Like,
You could call it
do
Zone
that.
Troopers.
You literally could. You could play a zone trooper. You could be a zone raider. You know.
Reskin Helldivers as Zone Troopers. Done.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Take my money.
You're right.
Yep. Just immediately. You would. But one thing I would change is have a working jetpack, because in Helldivers is a bit trash. But zone troopers need some movement.
Don't tell me about that.
Yeah. It's bad. It's bad. Man.
Don't. I hate bad jetpacks. You know it.
Yeah, well, they are getting their new boxy mechs, which are very, very reminiscent of ye old Wolverines.
Yeah, I was going to say Section 8.
Titans. Yeah, I mean, it's
Wolverines.
Yep.
I
But
love those.
either way, I hate bad jetpacks.
Imagine if you're playing Helldivers 2, you could call in a Mammoth Mark II. How cool would that be?
Oh,
That'd be nuts.
you'd get ripped apart by the heavy weapons.
I was going to say, I was like, it would just get focused so hard.
Yeah.
As they already do in every game that they're in.
Super easy to do. Like, even if you toned it down, or just just having multiple environments, from cities to like Tiberian wastelands or some places in betweens, and having the major modifier being how infested the area was with Tiberium, and the different wildlife and stuff that you run into. Because it is like, if you take everything out except from, like, if you take all the gameplay out, if it was just a walking simulator, that captures that fear alien feel just walking through or moving through the planet.
Yeah.
The world feels so uniquely alien that it would fit so well with Tiberium, and that is what I would want to try to capture. Make people feel like they're in another world, despite it being a broken Earth.
Or blast me down to the Scrin homeworld.
Yeah, drop me in. Pull the pin on my grenades, I'm landing hot.
Or one of their captured planets. Yeah, it would be super cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, the Scrin are basically the bugs, right? And Cabal is basically the cyborgs.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Oh god!
This game's writing itself.
This is writing itself. Somebody get a notebook.
Can we just make
You
this?
could even do that with not, right? Like, you could just be like,
Yeah. It's the red aesthetics, it's the whole thing. Just change it with green instead.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. This is the announcement. We're merging our teams together. We're working on a new project. It's been a pleasure, guys.
Yeah. I was about to say, are we just at a pitch meeting for the first major TA Wed Hub collab?
It's called Jump Jet Troopers, all right?
Zone Troopers.
Yes!
Yeah! I feel like Zone Troopers actually would be perfect.
Troopers,
Because we're talking about Tib infested. Yeah. It's all about zones.
Zone operations.
And I mean, you throw your orbital, and it's just the iron cannon.
Oh.
Yeah,
Just Helldivers, but cooler.
Yeah.
They get someone calling in a cluster missile on your position.
Oh god. Yeah, instead of sending up a flare, they just nuke you from orbit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So let's somewhere we have to get back on topic.
So anyways.
So
yes.
Yeah, what would you do to revive the C&C franchise if you had control of it? Any other? But any other?
I think honestly, the one thing we have to remember, which I always have to remember when we look at the Command and Conquer, the official Discords and the unofficial Discord, is that it is an RTS, and most people remember it as an RTS. So that's where most of your interest comes from.
Yeah. So building on that, my third and final idea, and this is the one that I am very likely just gonna say screw it and do it myself one day. So you guys remember how in Red Alert 2, if you're playing through the campaigns, you notice different World War II memorials. Stuff like the Iwo Jima Memorial and the USS Arizona Memorial, basically saying that the war in the Pacific happened. But we know that that World War II didn't happen the same way it did, because Red Alert 1 happened in place of that. So Hitler doesn't exist. So that leaves the question of what exactly did that war look like? What happened between the United States and Japan? Did it take place during the same time as Red Alert 1? How differently would it play out due to the differences in the timeline? Personally, I would very much love to answer that question with a new Red Alert RTS game. I even have a catchy title for it, Pacific Threat.
Is this going to be like on a Red Alert 2 kind of engine style, or?
Ideally, I would like to do it on Red Alert 3.
Ooh. Some limitations on that one, specifically on how the game can even operate. There is not a lot of deviations from what people might come to want and expect, particularly with mining and resourcing.
Yep.
Yeah, well, if the team at the Red Alert could figure out how to make it feel a lot more like classic C&C, then why can't I?
That's absolutely true.
It is true.
It's one of the things I did like about the original Red Alert as well, was the sort of amphibious assault, go onto this position, set up a base. That was just nice.
In Red Alert 1?
Yeah, a lot of missions would start you off, no, okay, you're not really like Red Alert 3 where you can build in water or anything, but you would basically assault a beachfront and set up your base against an enemy for the single player.
Well, I just spammed 50 battle cruisers and called it a day.
So, do we have another question? Or
I've got...
Yes, look, how would you revive the series?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
You are now King EA. What do you do?
Yes, EA Havoc. What would you do?
I don't know if I should say.
Ooh.
Okay, well, I guess what I would do is, of course, there has to be RTS, right? But I don't think it makes sense in the current market for traditional RTS ideas. It's just not going to sell well, unfortunately.
I swear if you say we should do some Silica type shit.
No, I would still do classic RTS. But I wouldn't really have it as you're making multiple games. You're making one sort of a game that houses RTS as a platform. So, for instance, rather than, because I mean, you can definitely like look at any of the RTS games in the past that have come out, and they're basically just expansions on themselves. They're just slightly upgraded versions of the engine, new assets, new whatever, right? So I think by doing that, you keep the community and player base together in the same sort of era game, I guess. Think of it kind of like the Halo Master Chief Collection, right? Where like you have one sort of a hub where you have all the games, and you could probably even mix and match and play with like GDI versus Soviets or something. Just give you the sandbox and let you have fun with it, but keep expanding the sandbox over time. So it doesn't just become, one game that you sort of replace every 2 years or something with another title. This becomes an evolutionary game that also gets benefits from community mods and stuff like that, because they just stay in one place and everybody gets a lot more exposure as a result. So longevity wise, that helps a lot with the project, or like an RTS game.
I like it.
But I think the other thing I would also do is really look into other genres, primarily FPS as the first avenue, and you can also go into like action adventure styles and go more into story and lore.
Like I think it was Horseman who said earlier that it would be interesting to have like a Fallout style exploration of it, but could you imagine like a classic Fallout like 1 or 2 C&C version going through?
To
and
be
speaking
fair,
to people?
didn't Westwood want to make an MMO based in C&C?
It did.
Yeah.
MMOs are trash.
I mean, yeah, sure, but like,
But ultimately, though, I think the thing is you don't want to put all your baskets in just the RTS. If you do, you're gonna.
You're right. I don't want to put all my baskets in those eggs.
Yeah.
So, that would be sort of my idea. It's more of like a soft reboot of the whole franchise. Keep what's good, remove what's bad.
Yeah,
You don't even have to justify it. Just be like, yeah, this CNC4 is trash.
I
That's
think thinking of C&C as a game with a long tail is kind of a really good way to think about it as well. I know people hate the term games as a service, but it's no one's really worked out what games as a service means for RTS. Like I have an opinion on what games as a service means for RTS, and that's better modding, faster patching, and
for sure, yeah,
more expansion packs. But the
exactly, that's kind of how I see it. Is like that new game is really just an expansion pack. It's not really like live service per se, right? Like you're not unlocking battle passes and that kind of shit.
You're not doing all that stuff that people normally associate with it, but you've got the developer back end that allows you to push content really quickly. That's the main thing. Respond to player feedback, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and not only that, like I think the heart of CNC has always been modding.
Absolutely.
And I think one of the biggest issues with all of the RTS games is that there's always a new one that comes up, and by the time a new one comes up, the mods for the old game are starting to like come out. So by keeping a singular platform, you keep all the modders together, you keep the community together, and you'll just get way more projects coming out.
And you support the modders as well.
Eyeballs on them. Yep.
Like supporting the modders by talking to them, implementing stuff 100%. That they need, and also promoting their stuff on your own news and saying like, hey, mod of the week, mod of the month.
As far as to say like, look into like Counter-Strike Go, like just set up a store maybe. Give back to the community and that kind of stuff. Like if there's like a mod that is a very high quality mod and they want to sell it, like that might be one avenue for income as opposed to like putting some monetary bullshit that nobody wants.
Yep.
Like a better version of Bethesda's Fallout mod thing that they do for Fallout 4. Just a non-broken, shitty version of that.
Enlighten me. I don't keep up with Bethesda that much. I mean, they've re-released Skyrim 46 times. I just kind of stopped paying attention.
Yeah, they did Skyrim in space recently.
You can get paid. Like, they will basically buy your mod from you, sort of. But the way they do it is super fucked up.
Gotcha.
Anyway, I got kids getting up, so I gotta go.
Have a good
All
one.
right, yeah, we should move on.
We'll
Next question, and and do, I guess, take questions from chat since a few people are probably falling asleep.
I just wanted to add one more point to this question, and that's just get the games on Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jesus,
I agree with that.
Yes.
Yes. It's about time.
Yep. All right. So the next question kind of ties into what we've been talking about, and that is and this is the final question actually before we take questions from the floor. What do you think the future holds for the Renegade community and C&C as a franchise?
Ooh, that really depends on a number of factors. I think
what it holds is somebody eventually is going to make a basis in a modern engine, and we'll finally all move on from decade-old engines. Oh god!
Oh god!
Never.
Ban the witch!
Sorry, hasn't that been the Totem Art's wish for us to move over to whatever engine you're on for how many years?
No, I'm saying we're on a decade-old engine now too. We're all just all.
You are. Oh, I forget about that.
We're 2 Unreal versions out of date at this point. So we'll move on to Unreal 5 when Unreal 7 comes out.
Yeah.
But at least Epic had learned from their folly, so it's not like ridiculous to convert from like Unreal 4 to Unreal 5. So hopefully once we get grounded, or once some team somewhere, because I've seen a few people make like squad mods that were sort of CNC, but they always kind of like fall through. There's a lot of dead red mods out there that just kind of like didn't work, but didn't get enough support. But
Wasn't there that Harvester project or something? I forget.
yeah, that was the one. I think that was for Squad. But yeah,
that was looking pretty cool.
I know. I think it became sort of Satcom or something.
Right. I think it was Fabian who was working on that, right?
Fabian, yeah. I don't know. Those dudes, just listening to them talk, you kind of got the vibe that I don't think they're working well together. Yeah, but
Fresh gossip from Yoke.
Well, no, it was a public Discord, or not public, but it was like it was a pretty well known thing.
Renegade gossip,
but yep, Renegade gossip, Renegade drama, Renegade everything. Good old lights.
No drama.
Anywho,
No, none of that.
Anywho, no more gossip. Just so I'm pretty sure that one fell through. Might have just broken off into something else and got absorbed. But yeah, at some point, some team somewhere needs to jump on a modern engine. Probably not Unity right now, just because of Unity drama.
It's going to be Unreal. Let's face it. It's going to be Unreal.
It's going to end up being Unreal.
Yeah, 5 or 6, whenever that comes through. I think it's going to probably be 5. I mean, I think if Firestorm, like as it is on the engine that it is, and the struggles that it has, if it goes through and it's still success, like a massive success, might be proof of concept and being like, hey, yeah, there's still interest in the community, and someone will yoink the permissions potentially, or continue to let people do it, but may release something officially themselves. EA might take notice and be like, we haven't, this dead horse is bloated enough now, let's kick it again.
Let's be honest, there's only 2 things that happen if anyone releases a successful Ren FPS that gets more than I guess over 1,000 players would probably pique some interest or put it in some public light.
Yeah.
Either EA cease and desist you immediately and just jacks all of your shit. Or they just secretly go work on a game that's basically that game.
Yeah.
That's why it's important.
Or they're super nice about it and they just let it. Yeah. Or they just actually are nice about it and let you exist. But they still never let you put the Command and Conquer tag on it.
I think it's more likely than being nice than anything else. Because at the end of the day, I don't think EA's got
they seem pretty mod friendly.
Yeah, they've not got any interest in
and they know
Nintendo.
You're probably not going to overrun. Yeah, you're not going to overtake the Battlefield franchise's player base.
Well, I don't know. 2042 is at what now?
I mean, yeah. To be fair, yeah. After 2042, yeah, you might overtake.
Turn that game around.
Yeah,
you can turn it around now.
I've heard pretty good things about what they're doing, like hovercraft don't drive up 90-degree angles, and I was like, I thought we were the only ones with that problem. Wow. Oh, I was like, wait, I can get paid to have a vehicle physics break? Cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, should just invest in W3D engine physics because they're fine.
Yeah,
they're fine. One of these days, I just need to make a joke video about what happens when you ram 2 tanks into each other at full speed on every engine. It's like, yeah, it's just a crapshoot. It's like, this is fine enough.
I mean, tanks are supposed to shoot at each other, not have a race.
Well,
yeah.
No.
Guys.
All right.
No.
That's about all I have for it. Yeah. Honestly, I just need the crappy mobile games to stop coming out. Jesus.
Or at the very least, use the energy from the mobile games to fuel more other new stuff. Like the Rivals led to the remasters happening, so
that's what
Legion.
So I say shitty mobile games. I'm mostly talking about Legions. Rivals, again, we knew that it probably wasn't going to be super sustainable, but in its own essence was decent enough and had some C&C in there. And then, now they're just, it's like the Rivals needed to be the one, aside from Tiberium Alliances, it needed to be the one C&C mobile game. Yeah, when they kept going with that, I was like, oh no, we see where this train's going.
I think the deal is with the mobile games is that we have to just understand that they're not made for us. They're not made for they're made to engage the masses and masses of players who really enjoy mobile games in Asian countries. So
Yeah,
that's what the market is for, and we just have to accept that we're not the target audience.
That's the thing, though. I kind of do like the fact that Rivals basically paid for the remasters. Like,
But the thing, they're not targeting
yeah.
the masses; they're targeting the whales amongst those masses. They're fishing for whales. That's it. That's what mobile games do.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's difficult because I mean, are we really the masses, or are we the minority at this stage? We're very vocal, but yeah.
I think we're definitely the vocal minority.
I mean, most newer gamers that I've chatted with recently, they never even heard of Command & Conquer.
Or Lost Souls.
We are, unfortunately. It's a franchise that unfortunately has been forgotten.
Yeah.
So I think we should probably run to the actual roundtable. The actual answering questions, since we're losing our audience at this point. At this point, it's just become devs talking to each other.
So I think we've certainly got a lot of irons in the fire over at Wed Hub about what we've got in hold for the future. I've already spoke briefly about the Renegade server we've got spinning up. We've got BFD, which is being worked on. Team Wolf's working on the new vehicles side of that, which is going to be really interesting. I'm going to be working on AR again, starting work on that, and doing some more stuff to try and get that out. We've definitely got more stuff to do, patching APB, patching Reborn, making sure that we're still working and iterating on stuff, because I think that's important just to generate hype and stuff for what we're doing. And I think ultimately, like, we're still enjoying what we're doing, so we'll just make the best of it and keep providing for the community, because that's what people want. They want more C&C FPS experiences, and we're here to provide.
True that.
So yeah, I think the future's still pretty bright for C&C. Whatever EA decide to do with it next, like, they can't sit on it forever. Basically, is my standpoint. They're gonna do something with it at some point. and yeah, we'll see what that thing is, but hopefully it's gonna
watch it. We're gonna get a C&C soccer game.
Oh yeah.
Jesus. Well, speaking of old franchises, I mean, they brought Anthem back recently, which is interesting, and obviously Homeworld 3 is on its way out, which is, I mean, it's a good opportunity for them to come back. You know, it's depending on the successes of other throwbacks coming in.
Absolutely. It'll be also interesting to see what adjacent games such as Tempest Rising do when they finally come out as well.
I'm probably gonna wait till Tempest Rising comes out. I'm not gonna hype it up to myself, but I'll probably play
the demo. The demo's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna even play the demo. I don't want to hype it up to myself at all.
All right, are we all done on that question? In that case, or does anyone have anything else they want to say about the future of the Renegade community and C&C as a franchise before we go and take questions from the floor?
There is one question actually I have for the TA guys. The more you're developing Firestorm, the more your guys are showing it off to the public, and the more that I've seen, do you guys still believe that Renegade's gameplay as a whole naturally kind of blends into Battlefield style-esque gameplay as well, and the two kind of naturally evolve together?
I don't know who wants to take it.
I think the way that FS in general was designed was it was meant to be an evolution of Ren, right?
Originally,
from the get-go, that was the original sort of design for it. Is, hey, we know we've played Ren and Ren X enough to know all of its flaws, all of the ways where it kind of falls apart, where you get base locking, lots of steamrolling, or lots of issues that we can theoretically mend. So
there's sorry.
At its core, like the idea is that it is trying to stay true to Ren as the Command & Conquer mode, but it's what is the next version of that? What could you do to improve it? What could you do to evolve it? Whether you go into like the original version that we had, like where it was basically like Silica, or the current version, which is, I guess, a bit more Battlefield like. There is still, at its core, that command and conquer mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of funny. You can actually play either command. You either play command and conquer mode, or you just play it like Battlefield.
Yeah.
At this point, it's the game mode's kind of turned into that. You can kind of do either or.
Yeah, it has the casualness of Conquest.
Yeah, which, as I learned from my roommate, again, he didn't grow up with. It was really nice, like having a new person that never played Renegade at all. That was like 30 years old, kind of getting into it because all of his grievances were aired, which was perfect. So I was like, what does it look like when someone like gets into Renegade? Because at this point, I'm biased beyond all reason. Like, I don't even notice bugs, glitches, and like Ren or Ren X at this point until I like watch videos and I'm not playing and I realize how. Yeah, I was like, yeah, these games are kind of broken.
Very simple things, right? Like, I remember when Renex first came out, and we're watching, like, I think it was Total Biscuit who had made a video of it, and you see him, like, looking for different weapons, but when he goes to the purchase menu, he only selects the free characters. He doesn't know that there's, like, a character tab, and it's like, oh, you know what? It makes a lot of sense that, like, you wouldn't really realize that when you're seeing, like, a set of weapons or classes.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that...
There's a lot of things that we don't think about, but it's, but yeah.
He praised you guys in that video, didn't he? Like, he said your graphical options were some of the best he's seen in any recent game, and he said, like, AAA developers take note. I remember that very well.
I love TB.
Yeah.
Not the least of which because he also loved Section 8.
God rest his soul.
I know.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
But I guess we'll try to stay on some topic. But yeah, I think for the whole Firestorm thing, Battlefield and C&C mode can definitely have like a working brainchild. I think we've been getting really close to it.
Yeah, I mean, even if you play, like, I think recently in 2042, there's that control mode or whatever that is. And the idea is that you can basically purchase vehicles. It's like, oh shit. Are they gonna do it? Well, maybe. Who knows?
Maybe somebody's in there testing the waters. Maybe somebody's in there poisoning the water with ideal, huh?
They could be in this very room.
Right, but I guess we should get to answering questions finally.
Yeah. So thanks everyone for answering the roundtable questions. So now we'll go to the floor, and I will scroll back up the chat and pick out any questions that have not been answered.
And for those sitting, waiting, and you have a question, ask them now.
Yes.
Yes, this is the time.
Yes.
Right. So, first question is... Where is it? Just trying to find it. The first question. The first question is: did you ever consider multi-language audio for APB-TSR and other projects? And if you find actors in the community, I can take this one. I can say yes. That's a great idea. It's one of those things that would be awesome to do, but again, it's just extra time and extra work, and we need some support on that. I think we at one point we were doing translations of the text for APB, and I think Reborn at one point, but it wasn't fully featured. So yeah, if that's something that people are interested in, we can be sure to shout about it, and we'll take it into consideration.
It's actually something I was thinking about today, that there's something we just don't do, but we lack the manpower.
Mm. Sith Wampa asks, can you guys please stop calling it WedHub? And the answer is no.
I'm not gonna lie. Today was the first time I ever heard WedHub, and I might have cringed a little.
Are you serious?
But I'm okay. I'm not gonna tell you how to live your life.
I can't not say WedHub. I always say WedHub.
I say
How is it the
W3.
first time you've heard it?
Never heard
WedHub
that term.
Rolls off the tongue a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just makes me think of weed every time, and that's
I'm just
Weed
I just,
Hub.
Yeah,
I just thought
pretty
this was
much
like
it.
a wedding Discord now.
Yeah. No,
Where's
it's
the
Weed Hub.
Bridezilla's channel?
That's the conversation between me and Team Wolf.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, congratulations.
Bridezilla. Thank you.
RXO has a question. It's really hard work to make a Command and Conquer Generals, but in a C&C mode with a Generals kind of mode or Commander mode. Is it really hard to do that? And basically, what the question is, I think, is it hard to make the game play a bit more like Silica, where you've got like a commander and you build all the buildings and everything like that?
I mean, if they're just talking about
the difference of is it hard versus is it a good idea?
yeah, I mean,
the bigger issue, like the original Firestorm, where we could build buildings, and like playing Silica after, and I was like, man, we have like the exact same problem.
Yeah, Silica does give us early Firestorm vibes, and it's not always the good ones. It's the, I mean, it's this is
the fundamentals, right? Like you want to have a large map with like lots of space, and then you realize infantry are basically useless, and if you're not in a vehicle, you're just not doing anything.
Meat for the grinder.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's tricky to design a first-person shooter that has RTS elements, like full-on RTS elements, and doesn't feel like you need a degree to play the game.
Absolutely, Silica definitely feels like that. I had a chance of actually meeting the lead developer of Silica last year at a conference, and I chatted to him about like whether he's played Renegade and stuff like that, and he's like, oh yeah, no, I've played Renegade, but his direction is very much, I want it to be a simulation, and I want it to. He's put a lot of effort into like simulating the wheels on all of his vehicles and everything, so that they're just really, really in depth, and the game is essentially two games. It's an RTS and an FPS married together and synchronized, which is crazy if you think about it.
Oh no. Well, you can continue.
I was just going to say, one of the things I think is kind of like the death knell of those type of games is the fact that you have to have a really good commander, otherwise you lose.
So there's that, and then I was gonna say, praise-wise for Silica, Jesus, like immersion-wise, like you say, like he went into depth on simulating like everything. A plus infinite pluses. Like that game does feel like you were down there in the trenches. So immersion-wise, it's great. It's just,
is it the fun one?
I don't see it attracting very many players for a long time. Because there is a lot going on. Yeah, it just starts feeling really niche, because it's like you're not gonna attract like all of the pure RTS players, because they're gonna be like, why can't I just order some units around that just work like, Command and Conquer, StarCraft, or even Company of Heroes? And then you're not gonna attract all the FPS players unless you have like thrilling FPS gameplay, which I mean, it's early access and it really doesn't. But also, a lot of FPS players like a faster game anyway. So that's where I draw that. Again, I like Silica, but
it's built for a very specific type of person, I think.
Yeah, like I can get on, I can like play it, but like it's like months between me really playing it, kind of deal. even so. And again, like Havoc was saying, like there's a lot of it is like alpha Firestorm issues of just like actually I'd say it's multiplied in Silica just because the map's so big.
Well, like even in Silica, I remember like just grabbing a tank, and I'm driving for like 5 minutes before I see somebody. And,
like the number of players you have to cram in there.
Yeah, and in the alpha version of Firestorm, we could at least drive vehicles pretty quickly, but infantry was like you're doing that for 5 minutes before you see somebody, and then you see a tank come up and you're dead, and now you're respawning, and it's like great. I walked for 5 minutes for no reason. So it's just really finicky, and I think that's largely why like the old game mode, although it had a lot of cool stuff in it, I think fundamentally it just wasn't going to be appealing to a lot of people. Yeah,
and again, just always the forced commander role immediately limits your player base.
Yeah, that's a real kind of sticking point for me. I think I prefer democracy to that kind of method.
Helldivers is the way to go.
Well,
the only way I can kind of see a commander type situation working in an FPS is if one team was only a commander and they're building like units like a traditional RTS.
So the RTS player plays against the FPS players.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like it's just because even like what's probably the best RTS FPS success story, I'd go with probably natural selection. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure
player with you on that one.
Player base. Well, I'm saying like player base wise, like natural selection too. Probably had the most consistent.
I mean, before it, I guess because Salvage. Oh, was it Savage? Savage was quite good. You had Savage 2 and then they had like Savage 3. But I think those games died quite quick. And that was more of like a fantasy magical kind of hybrid.
That's what I mean. Like, as in like, I was gonna say like staying power.
Yeah, probably NS2.
Yeah.
But yeah, even then, like it was like successful, but it was like successful ... for an FPS RTS hybrid. Where like it's actually still not that popular. Because like if you go walk up to the average person, they're not gonna know what natural selection 2 was. Hell, I had to have a friend tell me what it was, and I'm the one who usually peddles all of those types of games to people.
With the thing also, like you're saying staying power, but I don't think it would attract new players because you're just going to go up against people that have like tens of thousands of hours. And if you're not doing things exactly the way that they want you to do it, it just sort of becomes like a little bit of a toxic fest.
Yeah, so that's another thing. Like when I put quite a few hours into Silica, like back in December or whatever, around Christmas time, and I realized there is, unfortunately, that was already kind of creeping into the game of like there's specific commanders and they do their specific thing, and it's for the most part do not deviate from what they're doing. And there's already a meta, that was a huge problem. There was a meta of like, if you just do this rush, you'll just win the game. And it was, you immediately had to do like we're not going to do this rule. Like you have to have like a no rush rule because it's already like broken strategies and just things that come with pure RTS FPS.
Yeah, I miss Battlezone.
Yeah. Honestly, I think Battlezone did it really well, but nobody's brought it into a modern engine yet. Battlezone, I think the reason it plays well with Battlezone is the nature of you have hover tanks.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of mobility. So you never really get the I've been driving forever and haven't seen anyone, because everyone's always moving around. There's like clear objective points and it's contained. Pretty well contained, but like open enough. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Moving on to the next question. NF Havoc asks, any new projects in the future that haven't been announced?
Well, if they haven't been announced, would we announce them right now?
Yeah.
I I don't have any projects at WedHub to show. Like, all of our stuff's public, really, at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, which is surprising because we have about 15 of them.
Yeah. I was thinking of maybe making some. Once AR's out, maybe making some stuff for Kane's Wrath for a laugh.
Oh, I didn't know you wanted to make stuff in your 40s.
Yeah, I do. I want to keep making games till I'm old and wrinkly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, I don't think. No, we've got nothing that's unannounced. And yeah, I guess from the response from TA guys, I guess even if there was something in the pipelines, you're not ready to announce it yet. If you were.
No, nothing. Nothing to announce.
Yeah.
I think it's all just personal projects at this point.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Well, I want a Black Dawn 2. So was it?
Yeah, okay, so now we have to get all the voice actors and everything for that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's like, wait, none of us have single player campaigns planned? What's wrong with you, God?
You gotta say that was super fun to work on, even though it's kind of a trashy game. Is super fun.
One of these days, yeah. Maybe one of these days. Single player experience. But no, none planned at the moment.
XD asks, what would you guys say is the most exciting development / event that has been for the Renegade community in the past year?
This one?
This right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good. I mean, we've got there's been plenty of game nights for Reborn, BFD. Like Reborn's launch last year was really nice.
Actually, okay, let's go back. Let's say Reborn 2.0, because that wasn't the last year, wasn't it?
That was last year, wasn't it? Was it
Yeah.
the year before?
Yeah, that was last year.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was last year. Yeah.
Yeah. So Reborn 2.0 finally coming out and relinquishing the world of that awful 1.6 version that has been lingering
We
around.
still
for
don't
ages.
have the 2003 version.
I mean,
so,
KY did his
yeah.
best to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, but at the end of the day, I think
the community would agree that I just made things worse. I know the dev team feels differently, but all the response I've seen from the community was that 1.6 was vastly inferior to 1.5.
Well, they were expecting 2.0 kind of quality and levels, and then they got something that they were disappointed with. And it's just unfortunate. Sometimes that happens.
I think now 2.0 is out, we've really Reborn has really kind of found itself again. I'm really enjoying the fact that we've managed to get the ultimate expression of what we wanted for Reborn out into the public to play, because that was a real kind of sticking point for a few years.
Yeah, I think it was even kind of seeping into our work mindsets, because like ever since it's been out, we've just kind of skyrocketed in motivation. I've noticed, like across the board.
Yeah, there's nothing like making a launch and seeing it be successful. No, it's super rewarding.
Yeah. I will also say to that question, the best is yet to come, I would say.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I can't wait for Cold War confrontation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can't wait for GC.
Thank you. I will say that I do have there is something in the works for Reborn in the background. Just a small thing, but something that I think people would really like. I will not say just yet, though.
All right. Alex asks, speaking of translations, Renex guys, are there any plans to add multiple languages to the game? But I think Math.py has answered that one in chat.
I was going to say, because actually the translation process is pretty easy. It's just localization files.
Yep.
So it would just be somebody has to do it. So, yeah.
Yep. Any more questions in chat? People asking whether you guys could make the Renegade campaign on the Renegade X engine.
If we're going to make the Renegade campaign, it would 100% have to just be when we're moving to Unreal 5. Like, we don't want to stick it to UDK any longer than we have to.
Yeah,
to get this right. I think, I was gonna say, I was like, I kind of just took over that question, and I know Havoc probably also has opinions, but I think that opinion probably stands for everyone.
Trying to like trying to get the bots to do what like we wanted them to do was
No,
such a
everyone
pain.
loves working with AI. You stop that. The bots are great. Unreal bots are awesome. All having 90% of their code in native and unaccessible, it's fine. Okay.
I mean, was Renegade's campaign actually that good though?
No,
Yeah,
honestly, I think the
some
Renegade
degree,
campaign, if you added some like flair to it with like some set pieces, but like you kept the general story and you kept most of what set pieces were already there. Yeah, but you added like, I don't know, I'd say like one of the good COD campaigns from like the newer games. Added like, a couple of better set pieces like that, a little more cinematography or more cinematicness.
At least one
Kind
mission
of
that's C&C
transformed
mode.
like the Ren campaign into like a semi Crisis 1, like the Earth, like the early beachhead where it's AI was just super dynamic and they would call in reinforcements and that kind of stuff. I thought that was really fun.
Oh, Middle Water.
Renegade kind of had that with the officers, but they weren't really the greatest.
Yeah. I will say that in my humble opinion, I think Renegade's story was a lot of fun all the way through. Renegade's single-player gameplay had some high highs and low lows, in my opinion.
It starts falling apart near the end. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I forgot about it. Yeah.
The street and avoiding the nuke.
Oh god.
We should, honestly, goodness, that would 100% have to be like a joke if we ever remade it, where you just walked out. You walk like, what is that? You walk like what? Maybe
Down the alley
30 yards away from the nuke, and then have Ava be like, "What the fuck are you doing? Go further," and then move the waypoint to like a mile out, and find a vehicle. It's just like, what the fuck? It doesn't make any sense.
What I will say, the Scorpion Hunters has got to be one of the best opening missions to a game I've played.
Especially when you use deer.
Especially back in the day, it was so cool.
Yeah.
Deer and make Renegade even better. Gotta say, Jared's deer campaign is magical.
Oh, the deer campaign.
I'm not gonna lie.
The deer campaign. Oh dear.
I'm probably gonna do a playthrough of it. I laughed a little uncontrollably at work when I saw that. I was like, this is probably a bad idea. Should not be looking at this.
I think the final Mendoza fight that you have at the chateau is the best with deer.
Speaking of Jared, I played ECW the other day, and my whole experience of ECW when I played for about an hour. I spawned at the casino. I gambled 1,000 credits of my money away. Then I came outside and there was a tornado raging. Then I went and I got a job at a store. I earned a little bit of money. Then the aliens invaded. Then I went to Canada. Then I came back from Canada and I went to work in the UFO bar outside of town. Then I killed a police officer and wound up in jail because I froze him to death with my freeze thrower. Then finally I bought a train and then started like running the metro system. Like it's just a stupid game, but I love it.
It's amazing.
I'm not gonna lie. Watching footage of ECW, I'm like, I've seen a lot of dumb shit in my years with video games, and I was like, this is the most unhinged shit I've ever seen in my life.
It's so much fun.
Eventually, I'm gonna
I was on a massive.
Is it like the Gary's mod of Renegade or something?
Kind of. It's like if Gary's mod on GTA had a child on the web engine.
One of these days I'm gonna live stream myself playing ECW while getting just absolutely stoned off my ass, just for giggles.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna need a few shots for that.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh dear is right.
Shall we move on to the next question?
Yes, we should.
When will 3D tutorials arrive in the forum? Says Meta. I guess that the answer to that is when we get around to making them. But if keep bugging us and we'll make them eventually.
Also, don't if there is a specific tutorial that you're looking for or you want to know, whatever, just post it on the forums, post it in Discord, and we'll generate a better list and organize it better, and then put that to the top.
Yep, absolutely. The next question from Den Wellington is BFD vehicle update. How long will we be waiting?
So, I took a hiatus after releasing Battle for June because I slaved for about 3.5 years solid, redesigning it from the ground up and getting as much content as I could together, and finally releasing my game of, God, like 15 years. And it just burnt me out. So, I've recently come back to it. There's really been quite a bit of groundwork done. So, I don't want to put an exact time on it, but I'm hoping. Idealistically, I'm hoping for a year and a half. So we've already got like a great base of the infantry version, and that was the main idea. And so we've got we're going to be reusing the same refinery building asset, the same we've already got the harvester and carryall done. We've got a basic old script of the carryall taking the harvester to the spice sands and then taking it back to the refinery. But there's just other bits and pieces that we want to rework that we feel like we could have done better from the infantry. But yeah, we've already got a lot done. Infantry's done, a lot of the buildings are done. We've already got all of our vehicles. But we just want to take BFD to the next level. So to give you like a small insight, yeah, you didn't ask for this, but you're getting it anyway. We are kind of removing currency in the way that traditional like Renegade and W3D games work. So everything's going to be free. We're going to have like an economy kind of structure, and it's going to be the more locked behind like a tier system. So you have groups of units on like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. And the healthier your economy is, and the more your harvesters deposit spice, it will contribute more to like the next tech level or tier level. So we've got a lot of stuff in the pipeline. One thing we're working on at the moment is to have a new pre-spawn layer where it's a bit like Battlefield, where you select where you spawn before you actually deploy in, and you get to pick your infantry loadouts and stuff like that. So there's a lot that we're going into it, so that's why it's kind of difficult to give an exact approximation. But hopefully that reassures you that we are working on it, there's a lot going into it, and I hope it will be fun.
Pre-spawn in Renegade, wow.
I know.
Never thought
I'm very much looking forward to that.
Hey, we're the crazy kids that went for the more modernized shooter type approach.
And
so we got to keep doing it, right?
Yeah. And I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that the one element of Dune that everybody knows about is going to come with the vehicle release, correct?
Yeah, you can pet sandworms, yeah.
You can even make them your waifu.
No. You need to go home, you're drunk. Yeah, we're gonna I think the biggest thing is I think I've said it so many times, we are gonna have sandworms.
Nice.
And it's gonna be fun, and you will like it.
Excellent stuff. All right.
I feel like it's awesome about that.
It's going to be super good. Does anyone have, because we've got to the end of the questions now, does anyone have any additional questions they want to ask before we wrap this up? I'll quickly just watch the chat and see if anyone wants to ask anything else.
I have a question that I want to pitch to the room and to the chat. If that's all right with you guys.
Sure. Hit it.
So, at the moment, there is no single-player content planned for any of the W3D games on an official basis. But if we were to have a think about adding single-player campaigns for even just one of these projects, is that something you guys would be interested in? Yes. And if so, how interested?
Jerry.
I'd be interested in exploring the narrative of that. I would be very new to...
narrative's going to be a big point.
I'd be
You can have a lot of fun with the story though, like if you're making an original story.
I'd be interested in doing some sort of single player mission to onboard people to AR at some point. Like I've always had this mission in my mind where you start playing as allies and halfway through you get mind controlled and you play as Soviets.
Nice.
But it's just a case of whether that's feasible in the Renegade engine and how hard it would be to make with all the stuff. We need like a custom map and everything like that. But I think ultimately, like, it's something that I'm interested in purely for like onboarding and tutorial reasons to get people up to speed on how they play the game in the multiplayer.
Yeah, exact same. I think me and someone from the community were storyboarding some really basic kind of missions for BFD infantry at one point. We were going to have take one existing maps, which is like a village or a town, have it all build with random NPCs and some people you talk to. You go off on a mission, I don't know what you do, and then you come back and you find Nod has kind of devastated, not Nod, opponents have devastated the village, and the whole approach to the combat missions was going to be more of the style of the original Medal of Honor, or maybe Medal of Honor Airborne. So you either have semi-linear pathing with enemies on your path, and they'll do X with Y weapons, or you could have 3 or 4 different objectives on one map, and it doesn't matter which order you complete the objectives. Because as you guys know at TA, doing single player content is a bitch.
Yeah, multiplayer's, I don't want to say so way easier, but yeah, single player you have to incorporate story suddenly, and then voice act, unless you want a text adventure in FPS, which is gonna be hard sell.
Yeah.
I think the hardest part is really just coming up with a cool story that I think people are gonna enjoy, and you can map those out into campaign, different missions, stuff like that. But it's pretty rewarding at the same time. It's a lot of fun, and you can go pretty cinematic with it. Like I still think like one of the coolest cinematics in Black Dawn is like both the artillery strike and the ion cannon strike.
Ion
Cannon's pretty. Yeah, Ion Cannon's actually pretty dope to this day.
Yeah, so it's like all those little ideas that you always sort of imagine in your head when you're playing the RTS games. Like, how would this look like in like first person and stuff like that.
So what you're saying is Black Dawn UE5? Got it.
Hell yeah, man.
Just for that one scene, it's only that mission.
Yeah.
Oh, I will say though that the FS Ion Cannon looks better than the Black Dawn one.
Nice.
Good stuff.
Yeah. On that note, I will say that I do have in the back of my head, like, big pipe dream of mine is for Ground Zero to have short single player content. I do already have a story in mind too, and it would feature the return of both Logan and Dr. Miller.
Sweet.
And that's all I will say on that, just in case it doesn't happen. But I so sincerely hope it does.
Excellent. All right. Does anyone in chat have any more questions before we wrap this up?
I think NF Havoc asked any time frames for any of these projects.
I mean, I'd like to do AR this year, but we'll see.
Where's my Dr. Evil laugh? We just need a combined evil core laugh for that.
I like how apprehensive you were, Oa. Like, it's the thing you say almost every year, but to be fair, you've been way more committed this year, and I think if we honestly put our heads together and as a community, which we're all very willing, and
get
sit
the
down and do
goddamn
it,
thing out.
we can definitely destroy this goddamn delay for AR.
I'll call in some favors from some friends, and hopefully we can get those last few little bits of art done as well, maybe.
Looking forward to that.
So RXO.
And so I take it.
Sorry, say again. Sorry.
I was going to say I take it that we don't know time estimate for Firestorm X yet, then.
Soon, TM.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with that one.
Yeah, sadly.
RX
I will say-
Zero asks. Sorry, okay, well, go ahead, and then we'll ask the question.
Yeah, I was gonna say that our stretch goal for Ground Zero is to get it out by December 2025, but I'm not gonna set anything in stone until we're closer to a release.
Safe.
Nice.
I think I remember Fabi at one point said that Firestorm should release in 2030, along with the time period. That's really accurate.
Yeah, so we all have till 2030.
Probably
That's fine.
that.
So RX Zero asks, will Renegade X pass on to the upgraded Unreal version?
Little up in the air whether we do Ren X or just Firestorm. Honest to goodness, I do kind of like the biggest thing that actually even needs to happen is there needs to be a C&C base first, like just a Command and Conquer mode base for Unreal, and then honestly anyone can do whatever the hell they want with that, but like most of it could just be already done. And then now that we have like asset stores and stuff, because like neither of the engines that we're using were out when there was just freaking asset stores, and you can easily download things. Like watching people prototype in Unreal 5 or Unreal 4 is ridiculous compared to the stuff that, because I'm familiar at least with the original W3D tools for modding. I messed around with those back in the day, and obviously with UDK, and I was like, the ability to prototype is just so much faster nowadays, and you basically just need a good base, and it's damn near to the point of plug and play. Obviously not exactly plug and play, but like it, yeah, for the most part, we kind of want to create a base. And then I believe last I checked, we were mostly focusing on porting Firestorm over, which would by default kind of just bring that base with it for basics of Command and Conquer, having a credit system, buildings, all of that, and building destruction. And after that, it would just be Renegade. At that point, Renegade X would almost be like a reskin of that, while taking some features out or just moving some features around. Yeah, so the answer is maybe. And yes, just as the caveat to that question that you asked, yeah, Firestorm at the moment is still the same engine as Renegade X. Plays different, but ram enough things together and it'll feel like it'll feel like a little bit of Renegade X. But moving on is it's planned, but at the moment, it's Firestorm is on the same engine as Renegade X, the UDK. UDK. Anyone else? Havoc. I kind of rambled right there. Yeah, I just kind of rambled. Yeah.
I think you kind of touched on it exactly, right? Like, I remember a long time ago I said, we just need to build a foundation on it.
Yeah,
Once
building.
you have the foundation, then you kind of do what you want.
Yeah, especially like I said nowadays, because it's just like I never noticed how powerful like asset stores were, because I was introduced to the concept of asset stores through people complaining about asset flips. So I guess I kind of had this weird negative connotation associated with it. But then, when actual people are like just utilizing it, and I realized, oh yeah, actually that is a great idea. Like just having people able to use assets, and it lets people like,
I think with
build and prototype
and 5 general, like asset stores aren't the greatest for prototyping per se, if anything.
Well, I mean, for building like for me, I can't model for crap. Like, every time I make any,
I see what you mean.
Yeah, I know you see what I mean. Every time I make anything for UI or anything, everyone's like, "Why is this ugly thing here? And who made this?" And I keep quiet, and I'm just like, "Well, that's the best I got. All right, I will draw stick figures on this HUD until somebody makes something better. I just need to convey a point. This is why I stick to the back end of everything." But yeah,
in general, though, like the later versions 4 and 5 are pretty good at rough prototyping and Like I remember when I did originally that Wolverine thing, it took me like a week to make that in Unreal 5, and it was pretty cool. Like it's really jank, but you know.
Yeah, and just to
really
answer RXO one last time, yeah, the UI for RenX it's only good because I had nothing to do with that anymore. We let real artists do things.
There's another question about porting it. A timescale is kind of, I mean, how long is a piece of string?
Yeah,
We can't give an answer to that.
Also relative to what engine you want to port what thing to as well. So, for example, if we were to port like APB to to the whatever version of Unreal ends up being the base for Firestorm, for example, Unreal 5, let's say, like none of us are Unreal 5 developers, so we would first have to learn how that engine worked before even getting our assets onto it. And then when we got our assets onto it, we would have to then slowly replace them because none of our assets work with any of the modern graphics like pipelines. I mean, we are slowly converting some stuff to PBR, but it's really not. It's converting old assets to use PBR rather than actually building PBR first assets from the ground up. PBR stands for physical based rendering, which is a lot of what modern games use for their asset pipelines. But yeah, it becomes a bigger question the further you look back, I think.
100%. Like even for RenX assets, right? Like that was the same thing. It wasn't PBR era. We didn't really even have tools or that kind of a render pipe back then to make those types of things. So all of the RenX assets, I think that is less feasible than Firestorm assets. All the FS assets had at least that in mind, that you could theoretically switch relatively easily. So it makes it a lot more sense for FS to be the starting point. Whether there's RenX after that or whatever else, that's up in the air.
I'd like to see a Renegade in Unreal 5, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool.
Some form of Renegade in Unreal 5.
Yep.
But yeah. I think honestly, yes, the whole porting thing is, from the art, on the art side, you have that where not all of these projects were made when, physics-based rendering was even a concern. And then porting over programming-wise, honestly, W3D, you guys, actually us too. It's converting. I want to say W3D, you guys, most of that stuff, when you have access to, or at least you're changing source and everything, would that be C++? I haven't really delved into that.
Yeah, C++.
You guys use like C++, yeah. And then, so that at least translates pretty well for Unreal. You'd have to obviously be calling different things and probably rebuild classes from the ground up. But
I won't lie, Renegade is spaghetti code at this stage, so it's not as if people would actually be keen on reworking that kind of stuff, but picking and choosing things maybe.
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of RenX to Firestorm has become spaghetti code, especially because it's 10 years old, so it's like I was like, okay, we're gonna add this. Oh, this was not an original idea. I mean, this wasn't like in the original design docs, so things are just kind of made to work. So there'd be a lot of rewriting programming wise. So that also kind of bumps up how long it takes to port something over, because you don't want to bring over all the bad with the good.
100%.
Yeah, so you'd be like almost completely rewriting systems sometimes. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not sure what he means by if you were to start going to 5 from the current. I don't really understand.
5 from 3, I guess. It's sort from MediK.
Oh. Yeah, because because Unreal Script is not C++. It's pretty close. It's I think it's described as it's a bastard child of Java and C++. Is kind of how it's written, because I have been able to literally steal stuff from Unreal 5 to use for Firestorm, and it was like copy paste and then like maybe 5 minutes of making this Unreal Scriptified, but the basis of it all kind of works together.
Yeah, the ideas and methodology kind of the concept of it is pretty much the same. But Unreal Script itself was made in the 90s. They didn't even use Windows thread-based systems or anything like that because it wasn't unreliable. So they worked with jank systems at the time. They made solutions to those jank systems that are now jank themselves because of it. And
Yep.
a lot of the stuff we have as well is like the AI in that's in the engine already, and we don't know exactly what way it's implemented in UE5, so it's not transferable in that regard.
Yeah. So let's just go with it. It would probably be a while. Like, if one of us, maybe one or two of us, hits the lotto and doesn't have to work anymore, and we have somebody that can just work on it constantly, maybe like a year or two. But at the moment, again, none of us are as young as we used to be. Probably none of us have as much free time as we used to when any of these projects started. So yeah, things are way slower now.
Oops.
Meta, we'll call this the final question for Meta, and this is just directed at us, I think, at W3D. What do you think on a side project, Renegade, bringing Renegade to the W3D hub, like 5.1 game standards with sprinting, auto heal, infantry swimming, adding missing units to the multiplayer, basically creating like a patch for Renegade, I guess, that modernizes it with sprinting and stuff.
Basically, I think he's asking like current scripts versions and like the current version that like Reborn and them run on.
Yeah.
Like bringing it just to that engine to just have those, I guess, standards.
Yeah.
5.x Renegade?
Yeah, 5.x Renegade. I mean, it's definitely a consideration. We played around with it. We do actually have a 5.x repo of Renegade kicking about. None of the maps built, and it needs a lot of fixing. But to be fair, like it's not impossible to as a consideration. It's just obviously we would need to.
It's if people want it. That's the problem.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I was like,
Renegade, they don't want that experience. Otherwise, they'd play something like Reborn. People play Renegade because they enjoy Renegade. Like, it's a really cool idea, and it's something we'd probably enjoy. But we're used to everything you're describing, Meta. Unfortunately, you ask, like, just to reiterate it, there is a reason people still play Renegade.
Yeah, I was also going to say that. I was like, maybe from like the dev point of like either being a Renex dev or W3D hub, I think both of us see it. It's just people that like Renegade, they like Renegade. You're probably not going to pull them away from it.
No.
All I have to say on this point is remove sprint.
I was gonna say, I was like, yeah, that whole thing, remove sprint, yes.
Like, it's, I think, is another point to this is when we released BFD, we showed it as a completely different way to do infantry on the engine, and some people were saying, well, why don't you put this in for every one of your projects? And it's not everyone wants BFD style gameplay in all of their projects. It probably wouldn't work for all the projects, even if it's just the gun handling. A lot of people still like the more arcadey static aim point and how combat flows that way.
No,
and
people like free aim.
Yeah, but it's also like TSR, APB, and AR even at this point are all designed around how the infantry work in conjunction with the vehicles. So if you're going to reinvent the wheel almost and put brand new infantry combat in, it might not gel that well. I mean, we did some experimentations. We put in W3D kind of vehicles in Battle for June's infantry version, and it was just supply trucks, that no weapons at all, and they just slaughtered everyone because you need to have a completely different vehicle handling set that doesn't wipe out infantry with limited movement or with inertia-based movement.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, this kind of project would be good for a I'm bored what if.
I
kind
agree.
of thing.
Yeah.
Like if one of us gets bored and we decide, oh, well, what if let's just try and make this work and see what we can make. But I don't think that's actually a serious project. All right.
Cool.
I think that we're hitting time now. We've been nearly going 3 hours, so
Yeah.
we should wrap this up. So I'd just like to say thanks for attending, everyone, especially you guys over from Totem Arts. It's always really nice to chat with you guys about Renegade and get your perspectives on things and just hang out for a bit. So cheers for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
We should do this again next year.
Definitely.
I don't think we should wait a year this time. Maybe we should get together and do some stuff some point. Run some game nights.
Oh, hell yeah.
See who can win and do the best in a C&C Classic free-for-all.
Oh, fuck.
Absolutely.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Where it all began.
I think
I'm also gonna...
there's definitely opportunities for us to get together more often.
Hell yeah.
Indeed.
When
I'm also
Havoc's not
just
sick.
gonna... Yeah. I'm also just gonna
can't help
repost
it.
this just so that nobody misses it. The link to Commando, a C&C fan film which premiered earlier this week, but I know not everybody was able to attend. So for your viewing pleasure after this is done, that way you don't have to hunt down the link again.
Hey.
Thank you very much.
It's on my list. I'm going to be watching that probably tonight.
Awesome.
All right. So yeah, thanks for coming, everyone. And remember, EA is always watching.
Da-da-da-da.
What? Shh.
E.
Yeah, it might
Have a
also
good night,
be
everyone.
listening,
Have a good night.
Bye.
Awesome.
Everyone stay spicy.
Bye.
That was left-handed.
Take it easy, guys. Cheers for coming. Bye.